Hello, Legionnaires, and welcome to episode 253 of RPG Digest. I am John Maxley Oshlow. Along with me today are Brett Heathen Dog Grismer and Kevin Boomgun Simbita. That's it. Just us three today. Oh, you know what? That means we get to go back to using this one. I said, nope, not that one. Where is it? Is it this one? There we go. But slide Kevin over there. Look at that.
Oh,
look at that. Man of the hour. Anyway, we are going to talk about mutants and monsters, notably the concepts and considerations for going beyond the books to create something that's uniquely yours. As always, we are extremely grateful you are here with us today, and sincerely thank you for your time and support of both Legion of Myth and Palladium books. Before we get started, let me knock out these announcements that I like to do here. Please consider supporting Legion of Myth or its charity, the Wounded Warrior Project, through the link in the live stream's description. We had a great Veterans Day live stream. Heathen Dog made $0. I made all the dollars. It was freaking awesome. I loved it. But we raised, actually between the two venues, we raised about $2,000 across both venues. We made our goal on Tiltify, and we made about $700-ish on the YouTube side as well. So thank you very much, whether you donated $2 or $251. I know you are from $2 to $251. Thank you very much. Rumble rants and super chats less than $20 will be read at the end of a segment or topic, while those of $20 or more I will read as immediately as I can without derailing the conversation or topic. If you're feeling extra generous, I mean, it's Christmas time. With a super chat or rumble
stores.
What's that?
According to the stores, it's Christmas time.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we haven't had Thanksgiving. It's crazy. But if you with a super chat or rumble rant of $100 or more, I will take a drink in your name, and you can force us to answer any tabletop RPG gaming related question of your choice right then and there. We sincerely thank you very much for your kind donation. So, yeah, to give a little something back to those of you who do support us, if we reach $200, yes, just a reminder, when we have special guests on, it's going to be $200, not $100. In super chats or rumble rants, there will be a $50 Hunger Games style giveaway. Now, because Palladium has PDFs, we're only doing it through Palladium. So no more drive-through RPG, at least when Kevin and Sean and Jeremy are here. So
yeah, we don't want to cheat on them in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Lastly, a special shout out to our new viewers. I hope you enjoy this live stream. Share it with your friends and come back to join us again. Now, with all of that out of the way, hopefully I read it fast enough that you couldn't understand me. Try that on ×2 speed. What is good today, gentlemen?
Everything. Right?
All right.
Trying to be positive.
Everything. Holy crap, someone's on drugs.
Wow.
Took my cocaine suggestion, did you?
Yeah, it's good. No, I've never done drugs, so I'm one of those guys. Just doesn't float my boat.
Oh, I was scared for so many decades. First it was my father, because he would throw down for nothing, and then it was the military.
Oh yeah,
I've seen what happens to people who got caught, with drugs in the military. That was not a good thing. And then after that, I didn't have any federal contracts or anything, but all of the companies I worked for had drug testing, and I was the kind of guy that got randomly drug tested a lot.
Oh, okay.
That's so odd because I had technically two, because I had one in basic training. I had one time in my entire 9-year Air Force career was I randomly tested. I have never
one time.
I'm going to jinx it now.
In 1 year, I was tested 7 times.
You must have hung around shady people.
Randomly. Yeah, it's a 1 month. Every month it's random, right? Yeah. Randomly, I got chose, 70% of the time. Like, okay, sure. Yeah. Right. Random. Gotcha.
Yeah, for me, it was simply a matter of I had seen some people not have good results from using drugs, and I'm like, yeah, I'll pass. And then I had, I think alcoholism runs in my family. So like when I graduated at 18, that year, that was the legal drinking and voting age.
Yeah.
And so
this was in 1847. Yeah.
We
Wow.
Thanks a lot. 1974, actually, mother. But we went out hitting parties, and at like 6 in the morning, we're watching the sun come up, and my two buddies were like, "Man, Kev, you're amazing. You drank as much or more than either of us, and you're not drunk at all." And I was, but apparently they couldn't tell, and that just scared me, because I'm like, wow, I'm not stumbling like they are, and I can see why my family tended to lean towards alcoholism, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. And I didn't like the feeling of not being sharp, because I could tell I wasn't thinking clear, and I just my choice. I never really got into booze or drugs. I mean, it's okay for people who do in moderation, but not for me.
Yeah, I have a similar experience with Heathen Dog, except for I'm still living it. It's been like, what, 30 some years of my life that if I even mention the word drug, all of a sudden somebody's looking at you sideways and you lose your security clearance. And yeah, I'm not going to play around with that. So
yeah, for sure.
And to be fair, I don't have really any interest anyway. Yeah, when I was in the Air Force, I drank. Heathen Dog knows I drank, but I didn't drink often. And this is the thing, I got myself in trouble.
But when he did drink, it was an event.
It was, yeah.
It was an event, and there was music, and it was always the same music.
Yep.
Queensryche.
Yep. Operation Mindcrime
appearance, and karaoke would happen. Do you need a microphone for karaoke?
Nope.
I think not. And he's the proof.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that. But I got myself in trouble because we had a mental health official, whatever, come in. This is in the 90s, where mental health would still get you kicked out and all that nonsense. And we were doing a work order. So as a graphic artist, we were doing a work order. And I forget how the conversation started, but it was talking about like people drinking too much and so on and so forth. And I made the comment, said, yeah, I only drink to get drunk because I don't like alcohol. Like, I really don't. I don't like the taste of alcohol really that much. So I only drink to get drunk. She's like, you can't say that. I'm like, why? It's the truth. It's like literally the only reason I drink. Right, meat magnet? See, there you go. But she was like, I have to take notes on this one. I'm like, you do what you got to do, because if you think drinking that once a quarter to get drunk is a problem, okay, you do it, you do you. But yeah, they're trying to give me all types of crap at that point. It's like, no, I'm not. Yeah, I do. When I drink, because it's true, I don't really like the taste of alcohol. And like you were saying, Kevin, alcoholism runs in my family. So I've always been kind of scared of it. Luckily for me, I have never, ever, and this is one of the reasons why usually I drink once every like 3 months. After I have a hangover, even if it wasn't bad, I still don't want to drink alcohol for another couple weeks. I'm not like my dad, who's like, what's the cure for a hangover? More booze. Like, I'm dead serious. That's what he would do. I like, nope. You'd come a week later, I'd be feeling fine, playing sports, doing everything. You'd bring some beer or something around me. I'd be like, oh God, no. So.
Oh no, I had that thing. When I turned 21, I took a week off. I took a week of leave, and I was just drunk the whole week.
Oh geez.
Breakfast, alcohol. Lunch, more alcohol. Dinner,
I couldn't imagine.
Bagel and some alcohol.
At least you got some food in you. Good job.
Got some carbs in, yeah. But after that week, I didn't drink again for like 6 months.
Yeah.
I just didn't do it. I was like, no, I'm good. I had that whole week. I used up all the 6 months in that one time. I'm good.
All right. Well, that was a fun conversation.
And that's the end of this public service portion of it.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin's like, great. Who do I have to talk to now to make sure the lawyers don't come after me?
No, alcohol is like juggling knives. It looks fun till you do it wrong.
That's kind of true.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's. There's a few things we want to talk. Well, first of all, so Kevin said that everything's, I guess, good and positive with him. Heathen Dog, is everything good and positive with you? Good answer. Thanks. Okay, so
awesome. Yep. And you're back to work, so everything's good for you too.
When I get paid.
Well, you're going to get paid.
I'm going to get paid, yeah. And they're
wazoo.
And they're doing it in the right way. They're not giving us a big lump sum that just gets taxed away. They're giving us little chunks.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I'm not going to. Unfortunately, I still had to dive into my investments, so I lost money on that because that's taxed. And then if I put it back in now, it's not whatever. So, but it is what it is. I still have a roof over my head, and that's what matters.
Yep.
So, let's knock out a couple of super chats and then we'll start talking about more fun things. Yes, more fun things than your stupid super chat. No, where is it? First of all, we got Polyrobotics, member for 13 months. Thank you very much. Scariest monster on the card is Heathen Dog, and Mutant is the audience.
Oh yeah,
Well,
there was a lot of talk about me being AI, and well, we'll get to it. I started those comments.
I see that.
Truth
I'll
is
let you get.
funny.
Let you get to those in a moment here. Polyrobotics also for $20 says, Jeremy, where is my book cover and synopsis? Well, you scared him away. He was in the background. He was ready to join.
He was ready to go. And then he
said,
saw this, and he was like, "Well, I'm out, man. I'm not taking this crap."
Yep. So you can't obey simple instructions. Kevin can sign the pink slip, or I can send it as lace. If lace, what size?
Wow.
There's
that
got a little
one on there.
Yeah, I know.
Some jilted lover action. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
All I know is, you be you, not in this space.
Yeah, you be you over there.
I'm staying out of this one.
Yeah, that's not a good.
Well, there you go. You got your answer, Polly, because Kevin's not sending her the pink slip. Lace it is. All right. So, what do we got here? Do you want to talk about this Heathen Dog before we start?
Socially Confused says Heathen Dog is AI. Interesting. It is interesting because I don't know who told Walter, but he cracked the code. Absolutely. He is the OG AI personality, which all current model chat GPTs and Soras were derived. Yes. You people wonder why AI has such a problem with species and race. Mapped off my brain. I have a problem with it. It's not that I don't see race. It's that I see all races and they don't make any sense. None of them. So there it is. AI doesn't make sense of race or species, which is, and again, why I'm laughing so much in the title card. Everyone else is an animal and I'm having a great time because I don't understand. I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
For those who came in late here, I'll put it up. There you go.
There it is.
Somehow the AI knew. Why am I a
both
bear?
At the same time, unperturbed and scared out of my mind.
I mean, I get Jeremy being a bear. I mean, Kevin apparently is some sort of Arctic fox or something.
No, silver fox. What do you want?
So, okay, there you go.
Right there. It's right there.
And then, but why am I a bear? So weird. Well, at least it's not a pigeon, because every time I roll up characters in TMNT, I get pigeon. All right. Okay.
Flying rat.
Flying rat, yes. So, a couple things, announcements here. First of all, is there anything new on the TMNT front? We know that it was supposed to hit the boats. Is it still in the boats? Has it been docked yet? Is it?
It has docked, and it is shipping this week.
Oh, look at that.
It'll start.
Shipping
That's why
week.
Everything's good for me. It's finally freaking shipping this week. I'm excited. I'm excited to get it out and into people's hands. And yeah, it'll take a few weeks for everyone to get theirs, but yeah, it starts shipping sometime this week. So,
awesome.
Yay.
Well, people have a lot to look forward to. Now, is there anything going on? Again, and Sean was very clear about this on the Veterans Day stream, that you guys are using like a fulfillment company, but is there anything like the folks who just got books, since it's nice and simple, they're just gonna start knocking those out right away? Or is it gonna be like, nope, not until they get everything packaged together, then it's just gonna be random? Like, is there a process that you're aware of?
I'm not 100% positive, but I think, because it is a process, and we got like 8,500 people getting packages, especially when you include the retailers and stuff. So retailers and distributors, they won't get anything until everyone else has shipped. I believe they may be starting to ship out the simpler orders, the guys who've just ordered the books. But I'm not sure on that, because we also talked about how we should wait until everything's in. And by the way, everything's in except for the damn miniatures, which should be arriving this week as well. So everything is in. All the fan roll stuff has been in for weeks. Our stuff is hitting the hit their warehouse last week. I know one of our main guy, our main rep, is personally driving in. He's like 2 hours from the warehouse. He's driving in to put in the tip-in sheets that are signed by me and Sean for those who get the special signed editions, to make sure nothing goes wrong. He's doing it himself. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, so I mean, I am not sure, but I suspect that the books, the people who've only ordered books or other things, any orders about miniatures will be going out lickety split. Okay. Is my impression. But I'm not sure on that.
Got it. Okay. No, that's good information, so people can start getting hype before Cyber Monday Decimate. There you go. Yes. Could you imagine if this stuff had come in the first week of December? Oh Lord.
Oh yeah.
You'll get it in February, you know.
It's still, you know, I still wish it was sooner, but you know, we tried everything we could. You know, it's funny, even people I know here were like, what, it's shipping? There's not more delays? Or gee, it hasn't shipped yet. What's with all the delays? And I'm like, there's all kinds of delays, and if we could avoid them, we would. But it'll be worth it, man. These books are beautiful and they're fun, and all the products are great. The dice, the game shield, the prints, everything is pretty freaking awesome. So I'm just glad, you know, for me, it feels like it's been like a 4-year journey on this, you know, but it's instead of just 2. But
before Turtles, Kevin had dark hair and he was pumped. He was
That's right.
He was vital.
I looked like I was 30.
Pains anywhere.
And then the ninjas got to him.
Yep.
Thank you, CPK. He sent in a little sticker here. Where is my chat? There it is. Yeah. Just says super sticker there, but yeah, thank you for the $5. Really do appreciate that. What is that thing do? Is that a little bird? That bird? Oh, it's kissing something. That's just okay. Oops. I don't want to know what it's kissing. By the people on YouTube can see it. I don't know if I support that message, even with $5. Anyway, thank you very much. Some other things going on, as I think some folks might be aware of, but let's make them more aware of it. I'll copy this URL. Is we have, and share screen. Did you remove him? Thank you. Christmas surprise packages are back, folks. There you go. And I put the link in the chat there. And if I'm smart, I'll put it in the description. And if I'm a dum-dum, I won't put it in the description. Y'all can tell me about that later. But once again, probably can't see much of that. By the way, just for the record, next time, put the Christmas hats on the Splugarth girl or the slave girls. Just saying. All right.
Got to play to the audience.
Right? Get that out of the way there. Let's zoom in on this page here. As Palladium fans have come to know and love over the years, got the 2025 Christmas surprise package, and it's 105. Oh my God, screenshot. 105, often more. Now this year, let's be honest, the price did go up. I think by $4, if I remember correctly. I think it was 58 last year, 62. But look, folks, when D&D, I think it is, and a couple other companies are literally selling one book for $70, you're getting one heck of a deal here. Just saying. So, okay, I can't see with that.
Yeah, I agree completely. And they're so much fun. And we often, when it says often more, I mean, it's often more.
Mm-hmm.
110, 115, 120. Those go out all the time. So, we try to make these things really fun, and we got in a pile of reprints because, and I guess that's too, at the opening of the show, Heathen Dog and you guys were asking, hey, things are really that good? And it's like, well, at least things are finally coming together. TMNT is shipping, and we had 28 titles in for reprint that took forever, and then we had some big snafu where we got like a dozen of our books and they were printing on the wrong paper and they looked like garbage.
Oh, wow. And
we had to reject them all. And, we didn't go into that detail in the weekly update, but that's what happened. And, fortunately, the printer we work with is really excellent, and it was just some stupid mistake, and but it delayed things again another 2 weeks. These are the kind of things that happen that we don't go into a lot of detail with, but I mean, for God's sakes, there's always something it seems
Right.
like going on, and these guys have been so reliable. And when we got those books, I was so happy, and I go to sign a bunch for surprise packages. And I'm like, why do these look so bad? Why can I see the art from the other page
Oh God.
leading through? What the hell's happening here? And I felt bad for them because I mean they were great because they said, just trash them, Kev. We trust you. You don't even need to show them to us. You're clearly so upset that they're going to go in the garbage, because I couldn't. It's not like, oh, I can use these as samples or giveaway. No, they looked horrible. And
Goodwill.
but we got like 28 books back in print. We got another dozen sitting out there that'll be coming back into print. So everything should be, or most everything should be available for Christmas. And the surprise packages are just freaking awesome.
Mhm.
You get typical grab bag is 3 to 5 different products depending on what the value is of them. We're slipping in hardcover editions when we can. When people ask for swag or prints, we slip other shit in. And
it was last year I got prints, and one of them was so good I went to Target, got a frame, and I hung it on the wall in the other room.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, most of our stuff's suitable for framing. And well, I mean, people have different opinions. Some people are going to look at it and go, what look at that piece of crap drawn by Kevin Sambita. It's black and white. It's not even color. What are you sending me this junk for?
Black and white. That's artistic, man.
But the grab bags are lots of fun. And one of the things that make them fun is that you send us a list of like 10 to 15 items that you want. And then I go through and select the ones that you're going to get. So when the package arrives, and we're all happy to sign them for those of you who want autographs, me and available staff and whatever freelancer might happen to walk through our doors, we make them sign books. And you'll get these books autographed. And you never know what you're going to get. So when that box arrives, it is like a Christmas present. It is like a surprise package, because you don't know what's going to be in there. Is it books? Is it just books? Is there some swag in there? Are there some art prints? You don't know. So it's a lot of fun. And for $62 plus shipping, it's a great deal.
If you want to make it a real surprise, one year you should just, whatever they put on the list, give them everything but.
Yeah, that's the shocker. Surprise!
Yeah.
Surprise!
That's great, guys. Thanks.
Nobody will ever complain about that. I mean, hey, you know what? It was a surprise.
It's actually kind of happened from time to time, because we ship out a couple thousand of these every season, and once in a while there's mistakes, and I always feel bad when the guy who gets the wrong package and we'll get a call. It's like, I got it, and I guess thank you, but I didn't get any of the books that I wanted. I get all this other stuff, and we're like, and the thing that always worries us is, so who got that guy's package? Because they almost never reach out. We don't get two people going, hey, I got the wrong package. So someone gets one and just sucks it up, I guess. But and we're apologizing.
And then complains to his friends, I'm never doing that again.
Probably, yeah. But we're sorry when that kind of stuff happens. And if we're made known, if it's made known to us, we try to fix it. But it happens once in a while. So
but again, what's wrong with America? Why are you copying to something that you could say was on purpose? Like, it's a surprise. It's a surprise. Surprise, you didn't get what you wanted. Guess what? Welcome to life. Suck it up.
Oh, wait. You're right. It was intentional. That's it.
Exactly. You're building character.
We sensed you wanted something different. You wanted to try something different.
Yeah. We know better than you.
Well, we know it's in Heathen Dog's next Christmas package.
It's gonna be a box of rocks and coal.
For that, and you know what? Not even gonna spend any effort on it. Just go into the backyard and just be like, there you go, ship it out.
In there.
Yeah, there you go.
Pine cones. I have lots of pine cones.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, pine needles. I hear they're really good for the lawn. So But it's not just books, though. There are, it's just, you can ask for RPG source books, hardcover editions, yada, 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 T-shirts, greeting cards, bookmarks. I really do. I'm not lying. I was joking with Sean that I'm just going to put these on there and just fill a box full of these things. I've actually found these they're a little smaller than I liked at first, but I got so used to them that now I actually think these are like the perfect size. And it's like, I could use like 100 of these things because I have note cards all over my desk. You guys can't see it, but I'm that guy. I'm the guy that would probably, on the sticky note day would have sticky notes all over my computer, but I'm note cards and I have note cards everywhere. And these things, I got the blue one, the black, whatever. So just fill up a box of those. But what have we got? A dragon head sketch, or hold on a second here. Let's share this instead. Kevin, apparently just on a whim for whatever reason, I think he did it to support our topic for today. Just went and drew something, got ourselves a little mutant armadillo here, and even put stats on here. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can read that. I'm not going to zoom in, but look at that. So you could just get some random artwork from Kevin as well. Do you want to tell us about this?
Once in a while, but yeah.
Well, I think that every box should have this. I mean, this should be like the bare minimum of art that you give everybody, because I'm sure you have all the time in the world to draw all that, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
He has everything. Basically, Palladium Books is now on autopilot, according to Kevin. He doesn't do anything anymore. He just sits down and just does YouTube all day and then goes home.
He does crack a whip every now and again, so people know he's there. Like, hey,
Right,
Sean,
right,
I know
right.
you're over there in Taiwan, but your TPS reports, baby, come on, let's get this
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, you have the wrong cover sheet, Sean. Idiot.
So he has all the time in the world. I mean, you knock this out, what, like 7 minutes?
Yeah,
you just pop these things out, throw them in the books, and everybody's happy.
That was actually a couple hours, but
Right. Is there a
but
story
I did
behind
have
this
it in
armadillo?
mind because of this show. I couldn't believe it. I was already thinking about how you create mutants and animals and creatures, monsters.
Mhm.
And this guy, is like, hey, how about a sketch, a dragon, or maybe a mutant armadillo juicer? And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool.
Mutant armadillo juicer.
Yep.
Damn.
I'm doing this just for a moment here. I'm going to try to see if I can get this on the screen a little bigger for folks. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, we look a little funny, but this is going away soon anyway. But there you go. Now you can see it. Yeah, I saw the juicer thing, but I was like, where's the little juicer gear? I mean, is it just buried in his armor?
Yeah, it's underneath
Okay.
the armor. You don't want the whole system on top
How do you
of the armor.
share?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Puff, puff, pass, man. Come on.
You don't share nanites, bro.
Oh, there are nanites in those things too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Little tiny medical nanites that deliver drugs instantly to all the systems in your body. It's really fun. I highly recommend it.
Well, life expectancy, but yeah.
Well, there's that. But that warning's on the tin. So shut up.
Well, don't forget, he's an AI, so
That's
Exactly.
right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
When
Human
we're all
lifespan
gone,
means
he's
very
still going to be
little to me.
hosting the show. But no, again, I thought this was pretty awesome here. You definitely apropos for the show, and you said juicer, and I'm going to come back. If I don't, please remind me. I want to come back to this in our, I guess, technically third segment, but our second segment on topic when we talk about creating something like this in terms of not spending BioE points, just having an imagination and going and see what you can come up with and how to integrate that into the game. But the point that I was making here, if I can go back to this tab, was the fact that you could possibly get some sort of art print like that, or you could request them. So all types and all items are handpicked, as he already said. But yeah, I enjoy this every year. I'm at that point now where it's a struggle for me to figure out the list that I want. Like, what don't I have, and what do I need, and what do I want? So I have a little bit of a struggle with that, like some of the folks out there. But I want to thank one of our members here, Chris. I'll just say Chris. I'm not gonna say any more in that case he doesn't want to be fully identified. But he bought me a Christmas package this year. Unfortunately, it missed its deadline of yesterday. But hey, I should be getting it on Monday, so you can send them to your friends. You got new players at your table? You're going to be getting into some Phase World soon? Well, guess what? There's a few Phase World books. You can just, there you go, buddy. Buy them a Christmas package.
Well, the cool thing is, say you guys are getting, that's a great example. So you guys are getting into Phase World. None of you have played it. You could get a Christmas surprise package, request, and say, hey, in the comment section, we're starting up a Phase World campaign. So I only want, Phase World and the 3 Galaxy books. We'll put those in there. And then, maybe you've got a book to give to, each of your players or to your game master or whatever the case may be. So, try to utilize them. It's a great deal, as well as being great fun. And, try to utilize them to the best of your ability to make Christmas, special for everybody.
Okay, what does it say there? List your favorite games, Palladium or not.
Yeah.
Man, that is an insidious trick. That is like you really, like you put, like, oh, D&D 5th edition's my favorite. And you're like, oh, I'm going to give this guy a camel turd.
Well, no, that's when you get a sketch with my dragon saying D&D sucks.
There you go.
This is all you're getting.
There it is.
Whoa, don't clip that, folks, because I'm going to clip it first.
No, because D&D doesn't suck. I don't mean that. I'm just being silly. Gosh.
Oh, but this is the internet. We have to take everything out of context. What was that, Heathen Dog?
I said camel turds are useful for something, I'm sure.
But I don't have a camel.
Well,
I got cats.
Then it'll be a surprise. Surprise package. There you go.
One of the things that I love about being on the internet sometimes is, I prefer sausage to bacon. What's wrong with bacon? Nothing. I can have a preference and still like both. That's just blow my mind. I mean, I'm often saying on here, and I like to mess around and say, sorry, Sean, sorry, Kevin. But, some of my favorite games, you know what they're not? They're not Palladium. But you know what also is one of my favorite games? Palladium. like it's weird how that works.
I'm gone.
Oh, see, you threw him. He's going to get that camel turd I was talking about.
Like this is going.
Well, that's the thing, I think human beings tend to be wired to be kind of them and us to begin with. And so,
tribal.
It always kills me when people say stuff like, oh, I used to play this or that. And then I found Palladium and that's all I play. And it's like, why? There's other good stuff out there. And even some of the games that I don't think are so great, there's stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's probably easy to take and put in that is great, that is cool. And, I draw from everything. When people say, what inspires you? Everything inspires me. And I draw from everything, anything that just happens to, really hit me. And I go, ooh, that's cool. It doesn't matter what the source was, comics, TV, movies, a competitor's role-playing game, an actual scene outside, animals, everything gives me ideas. And you don't have to sit back and go, oh, that sucks. For people who say a lot of bad things about D&D, all right, maybe it's not your cup of tea. It wasn't mine, but it inspired the whole frickin' industry. They had to do something right. I mean, there would be no RPG industry without Dungeons and Dragons. So come on, guys, maybe it's not for you, but it had magic to it. And I don't mean magic.
Or hear me out. It's a camel turd.
Tomato, right?
There you go.
This is a good point here. The Evil DM. I actually tried to get the Evil DM one time, but unfortunately he was busy when Heathen Dog couldn't show up. Because I know he's been a big supporter of Palladium over the years, and it's like, I love Palladium. Did tons of video on it to help people. My group just didn't like it. Makes me super sad. Luckily for me, I kind of had the opposite, where like every group I went to, they didn't talk about Palladium until they did. And then when they did, like, why aren't we playing that? And then we started playing that. It was weird. But like you're saying, Kevin, back in the mostly the 90s for me, it's like we made an effort to play a bunch of different games. As Heathen Dog knows, from our time in the Air Force, but I had multiple groups before then, even a couple after. We would have like, say, the static game on usually a Saturday or Sunday or whatever. And maybe that game would last a long time. That'd be like the AD&D game, right? But then on Wednesday or something, that's when, what is it that we played? We played Mage, we played Warhammer, we played Champions. We played. I'm trying to think of the games I played specifically with you. I can't remember, but I mean, going back the day, Torg, Harn, Vampire Mage,
Warhammer.
Yeah,
no, not Warhammer. Battlelords of the
Battlelords of the 23rd century. Yep.
23rd century. There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Battlelords. I forget which edition, 5th or 6th.
We played 4th in the Air Force.
4th?
I prefer 6th, but yeah, that's a guilty pleasure game of mine. Like, don't tell anybody I play this one. You know, like, it's like somebody go buy a new game, and you know, part of us would be like, why are you buying a new game? We have plenty. But then, okay, let's try the new game, and then, of course, we'd be like, okay, that's cool, or no, or that campaign's over, or whatever. But we still had kind of a long-term game that was more focused, like the Rifts game, or the AD&D, or my Earthdawn game. You know, yeah, absolutely. Try all these different games out there. I don't understand why people don't. Why they have to, like, I only play 5e.
Yep,
it doesn't make any sense to me. So, so I'm waiting for all the FOT comments out there. For those who know. Anywho, anything else you want to talk about the Christmas packages? Like, this is now a great time. Hey, order now before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Takes up all takes up all
times.
Yeah, all the shipping time, and you're not going to get them on time. And you know, there's nothing wrong. Kevin, I've actually read a couple of comments from you, and this absolutely blows my mind. I don't know how people do this, and I like to think I'm somebody, you know, at least with a little bit of means or something. What's the single most biggest, there we go, that's my English for you. What's the single biggest order that you received in terms of Christmas package?
As far as quantity?
Yeah.
I think last year, I forget who, well, I wouldn't mention his name anyways.
Right.
I think he ordered 21 packages.
Wow.
Yeah.
One guy.
It typically, and even he didn't order them all at once. He ordered like, I think he started out small, ordered like 4, and then he ordered 7, and then he ordered a big rest of it. You know,
was he just putting his collection back together?
I assume.
Because the reason why I asked, because like for me, like I have to wait until my Christmas package comes in before I do my next one, because I have to know if I got what I got and what I didn't get, and what I have to put back on the list. Kind of. You know.
Prior to that, the biggest order we had gotten was 11. But this guy blew that out of the water.
Yeah. Sank that battleship.
Yeah, even on our Discord, I've heard people saying, "Yeah, I ordered 4 packages," and I'm like, "Really? Don't you have all the?"
Most people order 1 or 2 or 3, and then and sometimes all at once, sometimes separately. But you know, and of course, we're happy to ship whatever the heck you want. But yeah, most people order 1 to 4. There you go. He ordered 6.
And we got you, Walter. We understand. All right. Well, let's get this off the screen here so we're done covering up Kevin's face, although it is kind of funny sometimes. Kevin tries to talk, and we're just like, whatevs. Oh, here we go. There we go. Cover him up again. I literally know the guy who ordered all those books, and he told me he intends to order more. Awesome.
Oh, he's addicted. That's good. Drugs are bad, okay? Books are good, okay? All
right, well, we started late. We had a great conversation there. Please look forward to more Turtles information, and obviously check those Christmas surprise packages. I'm not talking about anything else. Really, do you have to be a show-off? Some of us are like, please send me my books, and he's like, deep, 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 deep.
Look, I got a book. Why don't you have a book? Oh, you don't write books, douche. Wow, Kevin, that's rough. Calling people douches? Damn, that's on record.
Wow. Now. I'm quoting that, and I'm putting that out there somewhere in the internet. Kevin Simbita called me.
I didn't say that. It wasn't me. It was the stinking AI.
But you know what? You were here, and you didn't say, I did. What was it that people? I disavow that. So that means you must.
Or you didn't say it immediately.
Yeah.
So now, if you say it now, we'll just clip it out. So
I think I disavow this entire program.
And we clipped it out.
You're not the only one. With that said, all right. So our real topic for today is we want to talk about what I called mutants and monsters, and I got a little bit of a format for it, but that doesn't mean we're like totally beholden to this. Question came up to me, and I had it on a note card because I put everything on note cards, and I can't find. Is it up here? Nope. But it basically went like this. How would you create a mutant or a monster for a game like TMNT, and like I said, we're going to kind of do this a little bit formulaic, but TMNT riffs or whatever. Like how would you do that, especially if it's not in the book? And I was like, that's actually an interesting question. Personally, I'm like of the mindset, well, you grab the book, you compare it, you're done. I mean, how hard can that be? But as we've talked a ton of times here, sometimes people just need that little push off the cliff to just kind of do it on their own, right? So we're going to start here with BioE. If you know what it is, if you don't know what it is, that's what's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness, Transdimensional Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and After the Bomb for creating, and Heroes Unlimited for creating mutant animals. But let's arbitrarily say, and I just picked this out of my hat. This is for, by the way, I'm just trying to get people's brain juices flowing here. I got a real question for Kevin in a moment. Let's say you want to make a basilisk. A what? Wouldn't it be cool? Just, make a basilisk or a gorgon. Oh, just breathe some fire out there. Like, how would I add that power in? Cockatrice. I really want to paralyze some folks. How do I make a giant lizard that shoots lightning bolts from its mouth or its eyes? Like, how would you put something like that together? There are no rules for that because it's supposed to be natural animals, right? So let me throw the full question out there, and then we'll have a discussion on this. And also, let me put this in the right format here. I forgot how I did that. Is that one? Yes.
Nope.
No, I just have to slide them over. So when a player or game master wants to introduce a new animal, or even a mythological or extinct animal, as which you guys have done with Transdimensional TMNT, into TMNT or After the Bomb, what advice do you have for building or creating the BioE costs and abilities that feel appropriate and authentic? And to be clear for the folks out there, we're not talking about, well, that should cost 5, that should cost 10. We're talking concepts here, okay? So basically, how can someone creatively design powers or abilities that go back to the ancient world or to mythology using the BioE framework?
Well, it's pretty much what you said. I mean, just kind of compare it to other things, and maybe substitute different abilities to mimic that. Like you mentioned, the Gorgon, the Medusa, and paralysis. Well, maybe it's the psionic ability of paralysis, or turn someone to stone. Maybe it's not actually turning them to stone. Like I said, it's paralysis. So they feel like they're frozen, but they're really not. And it's really a matter of, if you're a player, it's got to be sanctioned by your game master. It's got to be something that makes sense. Don't make it super powerful. Make it have reasonable range, and have it make sense within the context of what your game is, what the setting is. And then a lot of it is just research and giving it some thought. Mm-hmm. People are always amazed, and if you don't want to do that, then don't, and just kind of wing it off the cuff. But don't be surprised if it doesn't feel right. We researched the crap out of everything. Like when Eric did the Rift's China books, that crazy guy went through like 1,000 different books, because he really wanted to immerse himself in it and get a whole feel for the different types of magics and monsters, because Chinese mythology is out there, man. It's the same thing with Indian Hindu gods and creatures. It's like, wow. And he really wanted to get a feel for it. And we got the advantage today of, let's Google it. It's literally at your fingertips, basic information. And so, and then think about the environment it's going to be in, think about the types of villains or heroes it's going to be fighting. And kind of adjust it accordingly. Obviously, if you're kind of combining TMNT and Other Strangeness with Heroes Unlimited, it makes it easier because there's all kinds of powers that you could give it, such as energy expulsion, lightning, or that kind of thing. Again, you got to make sure the whole group is on board with it and that it's going to be okay, because otherwise you're really creating something that's much more powerful, say, than a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Right.
Martial
And
arts.
I've actually thought about that. And like, for example, the cockatrice, like you want to look at someone and have them be paralyzed, right? Well, that's great. Awesome. See if there's something similar in the book already.
Yep.
And you actually said it. The whole psionic powers.
Mhm.
There's psionic powers in all the books, and one of them will paralyze someone. So use that. What about what's the range? Well, what's the range in of complete detail that people can see each other? Because you have to look them in the eye, right? And you have to be close enough to look them in the eye to be affected by this, mythologically. So that would be the range. You look in the setting you're in, it's going to be slightly different in Rips and Heroes Unlimited and Palladium Fantasy, stuff like that. Wherever you are, if you're in TMNT, you look in the TMNT. What's the range for complete detail? That you have to be in to see complete detail on an object. Well, let's just, I don't know what that is in TMNT because I've only played it a couple times. Let's just say it's like 60 feet.
Yep.
That means the range of this gaze attack is 60 feet. So we have a psionic based paralyzation, which will last, however long the paralyzation power in the book would last, but it has a range of 60 feet because it requires, complete detail of the object being looked at. And then we look at ISP. Well, we look at the ISP of that psionic power and make it a little strong, make it cost a little more or a little less, depending on if the effect is stronger or weaker. Like if the range of the base psionic power in the book is only 30 feet, but yours is 60 feet, that means it's going to cost more ISP. If it even spends ISP, or it'll cost more BioE to get the power, right? To get it, all the way. Because
before you go too far on that, because you're making a good point, but that's really great for Heroes Unlimited. In After the Bomb or TMNT, you don't have ISP, you just have the BioE points.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. But if you're using BioE, then it'll cost more.
Right. No, but I'm just pointing that out for folks, that those are two different considerations. I would actually argue, and I think you both said it, that this is easier to perform in Heroes Unlimited. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you have superpowers and they do a lot. I mean, but I warn people right now, okay? TMNT, After the Bomb, stuff like that, it doesn't have a whole lot of magic in it. All right?
None.
It's there. Don't get me wrong, it's there, but there's not a whole lot of it like there is in Rifts or Palladium Fantasy or even Heroes Unlimited, stuff like that. So that would be your last resort to simulate an ability. That'll be, if nothing else fits, that's your catch-all. Because magic has a tendency to be very powerful, especially in game systems where it's rare. So if you're like, well, the only thing I can do is simulate with magic, are you sure?
There's definitely psychic powers. What's funny is, even when I was writing my questions for this and I was thinking through what the guy said and so forth, I don't know why. It could be because I just don't utilize it, but I didn't even consider psychic powers. I was like, yeah, how would I have a lightning bolt, for example? How much BioE would I have that cost? Would I compare it to, like, well, a turtle shell could be up to 60 BioE points, for the really heavily armored one, would it be worth that much? How much damage would it do? Like just those considerations. Again, Kevin, I completely agree with the research, and I love the Heroes Unlimited ideas that you guys were talking about. But BioE doesn't level up. When you have the ability, that's the ability, level 1, level 15. So there's a lot of difference of the considerations there, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is you got to consider the scope and the power level. So for example, a 2d6 or a 1d6 or 1d4 lightning blast, that shouldn't cost a whole ton of money, a whole ton of a BioE. But, if we're talking like, man, it can blast through a door and does, 66 or 1d6 times 10, or, then that's going to cost more BioE. And maybe there should be other limitations so that this creature can't just run around blasting the snot out of people.
Yeah.
You want to have certain limitations that make sense.
Mhm.
You don't want it to be just a super powerful, unstoppable lightning machine, using that example.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but
and
you have to think about that. And that's where game design is not as easy as some people think it is.
right.
'Cause
I
you
mean,
need-
with the whole lightning bolt thing, because bio E is spent in character creation, and to use the power, you don't need anything else. You can just use it. The more powerful it is, the more, like you said, the more limitation you have to put on it. Like for example, if it's like 1d4 or 1d6, that's just a normal attack. It's normal punch or kick or whatever. Yeah, you can use that every round. That's fine. No limitations at all.
Yep.
But if it's like 10d6, no, you have to charge up. So it can only be used once every 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. You would put a limitation like that in there, so you're not like spamming death beams every round, every action, every round. That's crazy.
Well, and that was a great analogy there, Heathen Dog, because you look at it and say, okay, that claw attack does this. So, what did it cost to get those claws or to get that special attack?
Yeah.
And then, but if it's something way beyond that, then it's got to cost a lot. And that
It's going to
means
cost a lot more or have downside.
And don't forget something like a lightning bolt's got range. So let's say you paid 10 bio E. I just made a character for TMNT, an elk with antlers. Ooh, I got D12 antlers. Yeah, but I got to put my head in somebody to make that happen. Now, if I'm shooting that out 30 feet, 60 feet, whatever, yards, that's going to maybe double the cost of it. So instead of 10 bio E points, that's going to be 20 bio E points because I can reach out and touch someone.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you would look in the book to figure out, okay, does any other animal power have range, and what's the range, and how much does it cost, and how much damage does it do? So, for example, porcupine spines, shoot out porcupine spines. Let's just say they'll go 30 yards, and they do 2d4. I know. They do 2d4 damage, and it costs 15 bio E points. So, if you want to make your lightning bolt cost 15 bio E points, you just change the wording of porcupine spine to lightning bolt, and then it's already balanced in the book. You're balancing the damage, you're balancing the range, and you're balancing the bio E points spent. So Kevin's already done the work for you on that one. You just fit it into his mold, and there you go. But
and that's the case with most things.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, but if you want to make it better, like, no, this should be more dramatic, more awesome. Well, then you have to figure out a bigger mold to pour that into, because now it's not going to cost 15. It's going to cost 25, 30, 40, 50, whatever, depending on how awesome you want to make it. And even if you balance the bio E cost, the damage, and the range with something that's already in there, they can spam it every round as if they can use it, once per action. They can pew 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 pew, and that's another problem. So yes, when like Kevin said, you have to think about playability as well. How is this going to impact the table? So if you have a 10d6 lightning bolt that goes 60 yards and costs 80 bio E points, well, sure, that may fit with other things that are just as powerful, but when that guy hits the field, he's going to kill everything around him. So you're going to have to put something else in here just to make for playability balance, just to make it better. So it has to charge up, or it costs 4 actions or whatever. You have to plant yourself in one place to draw on the electrons from the ground or some other nonsense that you make up and then you can throw it out there, right? So you have to be stationary. You can't parry, you can't dodge. You got to wait for 2 actions, 3 actions, whatever, and then shoot. You have to do that every time.
Well, and that's where you got to take in consideration to the environment. So, like if you're playing Heroes Unlimited or Rifts, maybe even Palladium Fantasy, that makes you can have a little bit more liberty. You can be more powerful,
right?
But if you're playing within the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles setting, maybe not just any animal, for example, can have that. Maybe it has to be an electric eel or some other creature that naturally has some sort of energy discharge. So, your polar bear can't have the lightning blast, but
Right.
your eel can.
Sure.
And again, you want to think about the environment. You want to have things like if it's a creature that can fly. Obviously birds are easy. That makes sense. Maybe other creatures that can glide. But if it's a creature who doesn't normally have wings, we're talking mutants here. Maybe it has wings, bat wings or bird wings, but that's going to cost a lot more BioE than if it's something that came natural.
Kevin, have you read After the Bomb? They've got flying pigs.
Well,
that was.
I'm just saying.
That was somebody else's fault. They wanted to make a joke.
you have Angus cattle or whatever. Yeah, I don't do the chimeras myself, but you can use those chimeras as example, because what is the benefit? Why would you play that Angus steer? Because he has supernatural strength in a world that doesn't normally have supernatural strength.
Right.
And he tastes great.
And he tastes great. I don't know, man. I think he's too gamey at this point. But yeah, I mean, but there are a bunch of different resources that you can use to come up with something. And ultimately, as these guys have been talking about, it might take a little bit of play testing to go, oops, we probably overtuned that too much, or maybe we do need to bring it down a little bit. Because I looked up the quills that Heathen Dog was talking about, and they don't do anything like what he said in TMNT.
I was just guessing.
Yeah,
again, I don't do BioE nonsense.
Yeah, they don't shoot out. So, but you can pick them out and throw them as little daggers. And it does act as armor rating if somebody does. It's the ultimate. Only has AR 10, but guess what? If somebody hits you, they also take 3d6 damage. So, the point being is like, I don't know off the top of my head if there are any ranged powers other than the psionics in TMNT, because I can't think of any off the top of my head. And I like to think I kind of know that game fairly well.
Well, I would count the quill throwing as part of the power. I would count that. Like, do you run out?
You literally throw it. Like you have to have throwing weapons as a.
Well, yeah, that's great, but you wouldn't have a weapon if it wasn't coming out of your back.
That's fair, yeah.
So as long as you can't run out, that is.
I say use them as lockpicks.
That's fine. Okay, that's good. But as long as you can't run out, you can throw them as many times as you could use an action throwing. Then that is an ability of the power.
Oh, absolutely, and it's 15 BioE just for all that. Why is your porcupine bald? Because I find so many uses for these things.
Yeah. I throw quills a lot.
I throw quills.
Well, and that kind of gets back into the context of the game and why you want to talk about it with your game master, if you're a player trying to come up with something like this. And he may not allow it, or she may not allow it, and that's okay. Don't fight with them if it doesn't fit their vision of what the setting is. Then it's not okay. You mentioned the chimeras in Eric's updated After the Bomb. That was sort of a step towards making stranger and more super powerful type creatures. But again, the context of that is genetic engineering. And this was somebody, merging the genes of 2 or 3 different animals to create something that, like a pig that can fly.
The thing is about both of those, both the chimeras and the purebreds, they look awesome. You're like, why wouldn't I do that? Because you lose a lot of flexibility. It's almost like you're playing an OCC to some degree, where it's like you are going to be mutated this way, you are going to have this, down the list, and it's like, but part of the fun for me anyway in TMNT is like, I don't know what it's going to be, but I got another animal coming up. Oh, look, pigeon again, yay! We roll up these animals, and for me, that's just the fun. Like, I don't go in going, I want to be a cat. I go in like, oh, this is please not something weird. What's that?
Not pigeon.
Not
crap,
and I'll roll a pigeon. But that's fine. The idea is like, I like it's like how is this character growing? Like, okay, pigeon again. How am I going to do this one differently than the last one? Okay, let's see. Maybe I won't take flying. Wouldn't it be interesting? And of course, everybody looks at you like, what are you, stupid? You can have wings. You're not going to use them? No, I got this better idea. I'm going to be like 12 feet tall because I'm going to put all into size. But you could fly. I know. I could. But instead, I'm going to have like a +10 to my strength. Deal with it. But you have a lot of options out there that I think sometimes people forget or don't want to do. I mentioned this in some character creation where it's like size. A lot of people throw this way because I do this as well. I like to make all my characters size level 6 and take all the powers. That's the easy way to do it, right? Did you know that size is its own power? You got size level 10 and you got like +5 to strength. I think we all know what happens in Palladium when you start adding strength on top of things. All of a sudden, you're lifting 3,000 pounds. Why is my character only 5 foot
and doing
tall?
an extra 20 damage with, a pinky slap.
Specifically 22 damage for this character. Ask me how I know.
There you go.
But yeah, like, wait, I'm 5 foot tall. Yes. I'm a 20-year-old wolf. And I'm lifting 3,000 pounds. That's right, baby.
Yep.
Okay. It can happen. When you start piling all that on. So you don't just have to take all the powers. Like, I have to have night vision. Really? Do you? It only goes out 20 yards. I mean, absolutely useful. Now, let's for a second go back to what we were talking about a moment ago. How long does I think you talked like a Medusa thing. How long does that parallel or cockatrice? Let's do a cockatrice. Just take a chicken, mutate it how you want. Well, how many points would you give it for the paralytic stare? I don't know. How far does it go out? Maybe that only goes out 20 yards as well. So that means you can range it down pretty easily. You got to get kind of close to it before it'll work. But if it surprises you,
boo.
How many?
What? Oh crap! I looked at it.
Yeah, right. How many points? No, it's
Then you're done.
How many points is that worth, right?
And there's a lot of different approaches to it. Rather than the classic cockatrice, where if it looks at you and you catch its eye, maybe it's actually eye beams, and this thing has to look at you and emit this beam.
There you go. It's a ray.
Yeah. So I mean, again, use your imaginations, think about it, and have fun with it.
Awesome. Right. I don't really have much else on the BioE side. Is there anything that either you guys or anybody in chat think that we missed on just the concept of BioE? Because I'm sure some of these answers are going to be the same in the next segment, but that's fine. But the next one's even going to be more fun because we're not going to be limited by BioE. We're just going to talk about, okay, we want to make something interesting and fun, but make it fit at the same time.
Yeah, and
what do we have for comments?
I starred a comment, but it's for the next segment.
Oh, is it? Okay. Did you just star one?
Yes.
Let's see. Didn't we have any super chats in there? Yeah, here we go. Can there be pro and con propaganda videos for the CS for TMNT's Empire of Humanity? The problem with the TMNT Empire of Humanity is their clown shoes. It's like they're all tripping over it. The Coalition is so much cooler than the Empire of Humanity, except for in my games where I actually make them tough. I don't know. As a lot of people act like I'm the like either A, that's how they're supposed to be, or B, I'm reading it wrong. Maybe I am, but that's how I've always visualized. Like the Coalition actually scares me. Empire of Humanity doesn't scare me. I think we need to do something about that. Thanks for the great show. We love you, Kevin. By the way, what's your favorite USA Rift setting, and why is it New West? Oh, really?
Oh,
thank
Eric,
you for the $9.99 for that.
$9.99. But it's awful.
But why is it New West, Kevin? Please tell me.
I didn't say it was, but I do love the New West because it's just it's the Wild West with science fiction and monsters and dinosaurs and what there was is there not like to like. I mean, you've got psychic gunslingers and mining cyborgs and all kinds of cool stuff. It's a great setting, but I like lots of the areas and lots of the settings in Rifts.
I would love one day for Kevin to be like, I'm just picking one randomly. I'm not, I really don't like Rifts England. That was stupid. Like, wait, what? His sales go, or he gets a lot of angry emails. Just something like that. I bet you if, we could probably actually put jumper cables on your boobs there and you'd still be like, nope, I love it. I love it. Like, just saying.
Been in the game for a while. All right.
There's so much cool stuff though. That's the thing is I try to make every area in Rift something unique and fun.
Oh, yeah.
So that when you go there, you're like, holy crap, this is not what I was expecting. Like Antarctica is going to be kind of really out there, and I think people are going to love it. And that was that's a great example, because the same basic principles kind of apply to whether you're designing a mutant, a monster, or an environment. And, so I sat there and thought, what makes a frickin' ice cube exciting? Because that's all Antarctica is. It's just,
What, you're not aware of all the leftover World War II Nazi secret bases that are underneath there? Come on now.
And all of the Lovecraft monsters that love to burrow holes and put mythos crap in the bottom of ice caves. Come on, man.
It can, and there is some of that stuff in there. But that's what I mean. I mean, just when you look at it on the surface, it's a freaking ice desert. That's what it is. It's an ice desert.
Yeah.
And it's cold as hell. And but then when you start thinking about, well, gee, there are all these tunnels, and what could be in those tunnels, and who made those tunnels? Did something make those tunnels? Start thinking about what would make this cool and interesting, whether it's a monster, whether it's a setting, whether it's a device, a super ability, a magic. What makes it interesting? What makes it functional? What makes it something that a player will go, ooh, maybe I want that. That's part of the whole, game design, creature design. When we actually get into creatures in the next segment, I mean, I got a lot to say on that subject. But
somebody, I'm not going to put it on the screen here, but somebody said, Socially Confused says, it's a spaghetti Western with magic and monsters. What isn't there to love about the new West? And this is the thing for me. I don't like spaghetti Westerns. I never did. My mom loved them. I was kind of raised on them. I always thought that they were stupid. Like just even as a kid, maybe I was born an adult or something, but I've never liked them. But he's absolutely right. For the people who love spaghetti Westerns, it absolutely is a fantastic setting for that. I cannot argue that. I just don't like spaghetti Westerns. Yeah, and that's the thing about all the Rift World books, is I've come across them either through Heathen Dog or making some of those songs I made, or just as the collection grows, as I'm finding more and more that yes, they follow some stereotypical tropes that you would expect, but they're done in a unique and fun way each time. Even if I roll my eyes at it, I can understand. Well, I know why people like this. I get it. So there's a book out there for everyone. If I have Rifts books and I'm not the Rifts guy, I think I almost have a full bookshelf of Rifts books now. I don't know how the hell that happened, but somehow I think these guys have drugged my water, and I need more Rifts. Yes, that actually sounds pretty cool now. I want to do that.
Hypnotoad has gotten you.
Hypnotoad has got, when I did that Skyscape character about a month ago now, I was I'm still I want to play this. I want to play this now. I still do. All right, the Crafting Gamer. I literally, wait, we already did that one, but thank you for member for 36 months. Really do appreciate that, Crafting
Awesome.
Gamer. Thanks for hanging out with us somehow for 36 months and not going mad.
Crazy.
Socially, is this the one you're saying for
That's
later?
what I'm saving.
Okay,
I'm saving.
we'll save that one for later. I thought I started one as well.
Okay, but Antarctica beings who hate the Splugorth. Okay, now months and months and months and months ago, Kevin said that there's something in Antarctica that doesn't
actually
immediately hate humans.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, oh my God, that'll be the first thing in Rifts that doesn't immediately hate humans. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, there has to be another shoe that's going to drop on my face. There has to be, because this is Rifts Earth. And I've said it many times, and I'm going to say it many more times. Rifts Earth kicks humans in the ding ding. That's what it's for. That's what it does. And this is insidious, because this is going to be a thing that's going to come off. Oh no, I love humans. I want to help you. Smoochy, smoochy. And then boom, shiv in the back. That's what's going to happen. So I'm just waiting for it. Yep. Shiv. Oh, you're completely expected betrayal. That's what's going to happen. All right, sorry.
It's it's funny you say that, Heathen Dog. I've got something to play for you, and I just want to be very clear, since this is how I know you're AI. All right. Oops, that's not it. How do I share this? Share my screen. Current tab. Yep, we need audio this time.
Okay.
Yep, this is how I know you're AI. Because I didn't make this clip.
Until the alien intelligence took over leadership. Not that anyone knows. You know why? Because Rifts is made to kick humans in the ding ding. And you can't have nice things. You cannot have nice things on Rift Earth. You can't, because
I won't play all of that. I want to ruin my
Because of
algorithm.
DBs. Because of the damn DBs.
I always go back to that one. What are you doing? You have to click on the.
You'll note that I
oops.
neither confirmed or denied anything Heathen does.
Yeah, I know. He just let me talk. Yeah, because I'm right. I'm absolutely right. It's Rift's Earth, stupid. You're not going to get something good. Just good? No.
You know,
no.
for the guy who hates depressing games, it's funny that you like Rift so much.
I'm
just saying.
No. It's not depressing because humanity can cleanse the earth of all the DBs. It is possible. It's just we're just going to have to put our differences aside. Magic, hey, you know what? They got nukes. We need nukes. You know, the coalition is going to have to get on board a little bit. You know, going to have to get on board, give and take a little bit. We can.
Well, you send them out in the front. You said
planet.
you go get them, Ray, and then you clean up afterward.
Yeah, whatever. You know, as long as humans plant their flag at the end, I'm fine. I'm 100% fine. We had to kill so many living, kind beings to get there. Yeah, but we're here. Manifest destiny is a real thing. Yes.
Ancient myth does not support genocide, even
Oh,
if fake
shut up.
creatures
You
like-
support genocide all day.
I have to say that publicly. What I believe privately is a different story.
Yeah. We have to conquer the land. I'm sorry, reconquer the land. Yeah,
This is coalition
people
reconquista.
don't get it. Rift's Earth is not a colonization thing by humans. It's retaking the land stolen from us. We're the indigenous people in this scenario, people. Come on. What is wrong with you? A little bit of bloodshed to take our land back? There's no libtard in the world who's going to go against that.
So what you're saying
great.
is that Rifts is a story of colonization against
By
us.
DBs.
Wow.
By DBs, and we are the
This got
indigenous
weird.
people who didn't have the technology. But in this instance, it's magic instead of technology, which is why the DBs are winning. And we, as the indigenous people, have to learn their evil ways to kill them with their own guns. That's what we got to do, and we're not stepping up. In my campaign, the humans are going to get smarter. That's all it is.
So, children, this is a great example of what drugs can do to you.
Rant over.
Yep. I don't even know what our next topic is, but we're going to whatever it happens to be. We're just going to start it right now. We're here. Okay, so yeah, moving on. So now we're going to talk about non-bio-y mutants, or DBs in Heathen Dog's case here. And the questions are very vague intentionally, because we can go many directions with this. But when designing mutant characters or species for Rift's Earth or Phase World, whatever, neither of which use bio-y, what guiding principles help you determine the powers and balance within those worlds? And I think one of the things I sent you was like, I don't know, I pulled it out of my butt, but I was like, Lone Star's working on some, Dr. Bradford down there, he's doing the Lord's work, trying to make, combine some DNA and, improve humanity, as they like to say. So you got the oh my God, the dog packs. What are they called? Oh my God.
Yeah, Scihounds.
Yeah. Dog boys. Yeah, dog boys, Scihounds. But what if I wanted, I want to be, I want a skunk. I want to make Skunk Man. So it doesn't have to be Skunk Man, it could be anything, but how would somebody take that? Because aren't there like mutant cats and lizards also down there?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. How could somebody look at that and say, you know what, this is a good starting point, but oh my God, there are armadillo that live down there. Where's my screen capture again?
Oh.
I keep clicking the wrong button. Get that on the screen.
Right.
And I want to make a mutant armadillo, but thank God I don't have to deal with bio-e points. And I want to do something like that.
So
what would people want to consider when doing that?
So one thing you want to consider, and so many people don't when they create creatures, is the environment, the ecology. How do they fit in? And even when you're creating a humanoid species, you want to keep that in mind. So starting with whether it's a skunk man or an armadillo, you look up the animal, and you see what are the features of this animal. This is how I do it. So it's got, in the case of an armadillo, it's got natural body armor. So it's going to have either SDC or MDC body armor to some degree. Probably not a ton of it. It's not a walking tank. Although, again, depending on how you wanted to take it, there could be ways you could turn it into a walking tank. Maybe on a ley line, it siphons in magic energy and it doubles, triples, quadruples its armor, or it can create the effect of a armor force field or armor of Ithan. But I go to the creature and I find inspiration from it. So, so my notes with that drawing was that it's only 5 feet tall. It's got short, stubby legs. It's got a short, thick neck. Why? Because that's what armadillos are. They have short, thick necks. They have that body armor. Actually, if you're being really loyal to the original creature, it's probably a little bit hunchbacked because they got the way their body is shaped. And then I try to think about, so what other abilities does an armadillo have? And I would research it, even if it's only through a Google search. But, for a book, I'll research the living shit out of these things and find out what it has. It has special vision, like certain creatures, like certain snakes and reptiles, they can see into infrared. Chickens, that was one of the fun things Eric Wujcik discovered early on, was that, hey, chickens can see ultraviolet light. And it's like, that's cool. It's weird, but that's cool. How can I utilize that in the creature design? And so I take a lot of the actual creature's abilities, and so then I think about how do I incorporate that? Like maybe like anteaters, they eat ants. Is this, if I was making a mutant animal anteater, is it an insectivore? When you get in, the rest of the group is cooking up a nice good steak out on the range in the New West, is the anteater going, ugh, oh, but look at nice anthill here, or beehive,
Oh my
or
God,
whatever.
how many ants would a human-sized anteater have to eat? Oh my God. Yeah, I got them all in my backyard. I could use one of those right now.
And with a skunk, there's good things and bad things. So, skunks, do they have like an odor that kind of follows them? I know ferrets have sort of that musky smell that can get overpowering after a while. How do we incorporate it? Is that something bad? Is that how a mutant ferret or a mutant skunk is coming by? It kind of goes back to the lightning bolt and stuff Heathen Dog was talking about. Okay, it's got a skunk spray. It's got a chemical spray that is just so abhorrent that it causes people to retch. Well, what exactly is the effect of that? Are we losing attacks per melee round? Are we, what's the range? How far can it spray? Where does it spray from?
You just said something right there that I think is really interesting. Losing attacks per round. So it isn't just damage, and it isn't just like, okay, have a -4 to all your stuff. Some of the things that people can consider is like, and I'm not saying this about the skunk, I'm just talking in general. Does this double ISP or PPE cost when using magic or psionics because of some ability it's got? Does it lower your attacks per round? Does it just simply slow you down? Maybe it's got some muck or something. You got a mutant slug or some crap, and you're stepping in it, and now you're kind of stuck to the floor a little bit. A lot of different things that people can consider that isn't just like, well, it gives you a -2 to hit.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you don't want, so here's, let me just throw this out for people who design various things. To me, the most devastating spell, or ability, I've had a lot of freelancers turn these in, and you never see them in a book because it's the kiss of death. Oh, it doesn't hurt the person at all. It just completely paralyzes them or freezes them and they can't move. Okay, I walk up, I put a gun to the head, and I pull the trigger. Not cool, not good. You need to be really careful with that kind of thing. It sounds like it's benign. Oh, I just put them to sleep. In my early D&D campaigns, I can't tell you how many people, NPCs, died in their sleep. because some wizard would put them to sleep, and a thief or an assassin would walk up and cut their throat.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, yikes, that's not cool. Not if it happened to your player character.
And to be fair, if you can do it to the NPCs can do it to you.
Exactly. So, and I try to keep in mind all those things. The other thing I want to point out is, and people don't think about it. I had a talk with a freelance writer about this. When I brought this up, he was like, wow, I never thought of this. Thank you for sharing this with me. If the creature has big eyes, it's probably nocturnal or lives underground. If it has scales, it's either some kind of reptile or a frickin' fish. If it has tentacles, it's aquatic.
Or Japanese.
Even Cthulhu, there's a lot of, aquatic references to Cthulhu, for good reason, because he's got tentacle for a face. Think about, because it's got to make sense to us. I think sometimes people think, well, I'll just throw all this together because that's what makes it alien. Does it? If it's got, the legs of a spider and the body of a woolly mammoth and the head of a rhinoceros, no, it's just freaking weird. It doesn't really necessarily make sense. Try to have your creature make sense, because you're playing with people who, this is our reference. Our world is our frame of reference. And so there are certain things that should correlate to our knowledge of our world. And that makes them just as creepy as anything else. So, if it has multiple eyes, it's probably an arachnid of some kind. That kind of thing. And think about it. It was funny. I had this conversation with someone recently. They were like, well, why do you watch it? Like 1,000, do I have to go out and watch 1,000 animal shows? And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. But I have.
It wouldn't hurt.
I mean, I've read tons of animal books. I used to get there were these books for kids, I think, called zoo books. They were freaking great because they were broken down very easy, and they had a lot of fantastic stats in it. Simple things like, oh, a leopard can leap 30 feet straight up because it's arboreal. It doesn't leap like someone else was like, oh no, it can leap like 30 feet. It's like, no, straight up into a tree or onto a ledge. Not leap 30 feet away.
And watch how high it can leap when it's got something its size in its mouth too.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I can tell you from, so you hear stories about these things. It's crazy when you actually see it in person. So I've always been sort of an animal guy. I've always watched nature shows and read books about animals and stuff. And one of my neighbors, when I was living in Dearborn, Michigan, they foolishly, typical urban person who doesn't know, they've always lived in a city, so they don't know better. And they're telling me how we're going to get a lynx. I'm going to teach it how to walk. I'm going to walk it on a leash like a dog. And I'm like, I don't think so. Tim, this ain't happening. But they got a lynx and they declawed it, unfortunately, so it couldn't be let loose later. But anyways, there's this lynx on a chain in the backyard. I never liked the way it would watch my dog when it would run along the fence line. And anyways, I'm sitting on the back porch with my dog, enjoying a nice sunny day. And this thing is just laying, on the concrete slab, and a bird flies by. And this thing, from a prone position, leaps up, straight up, 6 feet, grabs the bird and lands and chomps it up and swallows it. And I'm like, because it was amazing to see this big cat who's just kind of like, nice day. What? It was amazing. And you realize the power in that creature's legs.
Yep.
Whew. And by the way, for people who ever wonder what happened to that lynx, they gave it to some society that takes care of the lynx, because they came home one day. Well, they came home one day from going to the movies or some such, and the lynx had eaten the front room. it got lonely and bored, and it chewed everything up. And they're like, it's got to go. And I'm like, I try to tell you, it's a wild animal. It's not a dog or even a house cat. This is a big ass wild animal that's driven by instinct. Those are kind of things to think about too when it comes to personality. A lot of truly animal type characters, some part of them, unless they're a mutant, is going to be driven by instinct. And that may apply to alien beings, that may apply to monsters, and certainly natural animals. Instinct is going to drive them to a large degree, and you can only change them so much. But anyways, there's all these things to think about. And an environment, you're not going to find, the tentacle man in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Think about, this is an aquatic character. Think about your environment. And I think that's why a lot of people really enjoy our creatures, because we build them into an ecology. You find them in places that make sense. Although with rifts, you can kind of pop in anything, anywhere, but it's going to be an exception. And Heathen Dog is...
people have to super chat to get that off his mouth now. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. I agree with what you're saying there, because sometimes I do think, and I've been guilty of this in the past as well, just like, it'd be funny, it'll really mess with their minds if I make something that just totally doesn't belong here. And I would argue that I don't think they were ever fun for anybody, including myself, when I did that. Instead, I'll tell a story that everybody here knows, if you've watched the channel before, but I like to change things. This is for D&D, but I like to change things, but still have it follow its same concepts. For example, we'll just call it it wasn't a snow troll, but it was a troll that wasn't fire and acid didn't really bother it at all. It's like it still regenerated from it. Wait, what? Because if they would have talked to folks, if they would have got more information, they would have found out that it was actually like it stayed away from the forest, like, because everybody's like, oh, it's because the druid's there. No, because actually you harm it with wood. So a little bit of research and they would have found that out, and it would have been just as easy as any other troll. But it's still a troll. It still had a weakness. It still had its regeneration, still acted like a troll. It's just because of where it was and what it was doing, it acted differently. I do that a ton with undead. Undead's easier because you can kind of make up stories for them. But I love taking, okay, this is what this is here. I'm still going to have it meet its normal shtick. I'm just going to change what that happens to be. And I learned that from, believe it or not, from Ravenloft. When I was reading the book on vampires, this is back in the 90s, whenever that book came out, and it said, not all vampires drink blood. Some drink your spinal fluid. Some drink your eyeball goo. So, and I was like, okay, I'm in. And just from there, how can I tweak things? But isn't that scary? In a way, isn't that scarier? Like, why are all these people blind?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I love doing that. Earlier in the show, you mentioned that, you have a bunch of these tropes, and then Kevin throws you a twist. And that's the thing. I like to set people up with, oh, I know what this is. And then, they turn a page and they're like, oh, I guess I don't. And I like that. I love doing that.
But it still gives them, like you were talking about, it still gives them that reference point. Something, you're saying, like, if it's got scales, it's water or reptile, something you can chew off, so to speak, and be like, at least now we don't know exactly what it does, but we have a place where we can start researching. We can start looking. And I like research in games, not boring research where it takes all day, but the idea that the characters take the time to go, hold on, let's figure this thing out instead of just charging into it and hopefully we beat it, right?
Right. Why does it have long claws? So, for example, a lot of lizards have long claws. That's because most lizards climb trees or rocks or both. And that's why they have the claws. And so maybe they can dig or maybe they can climb. That should be a no-brainer. Oh, it's got these long lizard claws because it can climb. And oh, what color is it? That's so it can blend into its environment. Whether that happens to be desert or, trees and vegetation, obviously the color will be different, but, Just one thing starts to lead to another if you really start thinking about how it fits into that world, how it fits into that environment, because they're just consistencies.
Absolutely. And folks, look, if you want him to say something, all you have to do is request it with a little backing behind, a little impetus, as we like to say here, behind a little grift. Otherwise, he's got a lot to say, and it's probably stuff you guys enjoy. I've had 2 people in the last 2 weeks actually tell me, they had the balls to tell me to my face they prefer what Heathen Dog has to say to what I have to say. And now look what just happened. So, it works for me. I'll take it. Are there, just out of curiosity? Well, I'm guessing, let me do this first. You don't really think about balance, do you? Like we were talking before the stream, that's a term I despise that term, but I understand why it's used a lot. Do you think of balance when you're creating a creature for Rifts?
Not the way some people think. Okay. I think.
So what are those checks and balances, so to speak, that you use especially when creating something supernatural?
So I have to think about what context is this creature going to appear in. It's got to have a weakness. It's got to have, something that, people can defeat it with, whether it's water or fire or silver or wood. Some of those things really, when I was researching stuff for the various China books, China has all kinds of crazy things where, the creature is practically indestructible, except, if a flower petal hits it in the face, it falls over unconscious or something. All kinds of specific woods and stones and ivory and peach and cherry blossoms and trees are big for them. And, it's like, oh, I like that, especially because supernatural creature doesn't fit the within our scientific understanding of how the world works. It doesn't fit the physics as we know it. So they can do weird and incredible things, but at the same time, they do have to have some weakness. And it's got to be something that ultimately, in the context of the game, that our players, our heroes, can defeat at some point. So
do you give them tells or anything like that? Again, we talked a bit more about, kind of their design is going to indicate something, but let's say it is immune to silver, or so you can only be hurt by silver. Is there some sort of tell that you put in the game, or its weakness is at night for whatever reason? It's like Superman; it gets power from the sun, but at night it's a little weaker. How would you put in those, or do you put in those tells?
I absolutely. And those tells would be things like it only comes out at night. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the sun starts to rise, it always vanishes, or it stays away from water, or it, doesn't like this or that. Definitely. Maybe it's only found in subterranean locations, that kind of thing. And again, not always, but often. Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any examples of mutants, animal, whatever, monsters, species, anything that you created for Rifts or Phase World specifically? Because, those are that's kind of the over the top realm, right? That you created, that played differently, that you're like, ooh, that did not turn out the way I'd hoped, or vice versa, like, whoa, that was even better than I thought.
Nothing pops out at the top of my head. I'm sure there have been. Okay. And a lot of that will come out in play tests, mm-hmm. where you don't expect necessarily a creature to resonate with players the way they do sometimes. Well, I guess sort of an example of that is the Gromech in Palladium Fantasy. People love those things.
I hear about them a lot. Yes.
And when I did it, when I created it, I didn't think it was, that big of a deal. But people really liked it. Same thing with the Scarecrow, and it's obvious with a Scarecrow. It's like, yeah, set him on fire. But they're cool creatures. I think there's just something about some sort of being that isn't quite flesh and blood, being animated and alive, let alone wielding some magical powers.
Mhm.
And then there's just so many creatures I made for riffs. I was pleased that people enjoyed the Fury Beetle as much as they did and do.
I remember that one.
Simvan, people love the Simvan, which the Simvan Monster Riders. That was cool. That hit bigger than I thought they would.
From Palladium Fantasy, the Boogeyman. I don't know, just maybe it's the picture of it more than anything else. But I use that anytime I pull something. Now I've had the first edition version of the Monsters and Animals books for forever, so I tend to pull from that first. And I don't know, something about that picture. I don't care what I'm running. I do not care what I'm running. I've put it in my Earthdawn games. I put it in my D&D games. I put it in whatever. There's just something about that always grabs me. So I always pull the Boogeyman out.
That's a great example. And the Boogeyman in Beyond the Supernatural is very different. But the fantasy ones, people love those. John Klinkle's another guy who uses them all the time. He's one of my freelance writers and has played in fantasy and riffs for forever. And in fact, sometimes when he send in a manuscript, I'm like, okay, John, we've had Boogeymen in like the last 3 adventures. I don't think we need them in these next 3 adventures. But they're fun. They're because they're kind of hideous and little, and they're dangerous, but because
of your mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, they're good stuff.
I can't believe that folks just don't want to hear from Heathen Dog. That is just kind of sad. And somebody said something about me missing a super chat. I didn't miss a super chat. I didn't. I'm looking at all the super chats right now and got nothing on here. Now I will bring up, because I will respect Heathen Dog in this regard. He did want to talk about this, and I was hoping that somebody super chat so he could bring it up on his own, but I guess not. Nightbane is a great way to get supernatural animals. I'm not so sure about that, because you get supernatural monstrosities from that. But I think it is a great way to put something together in terms of design and then kind of make a story out of it. Like, how does this actually fit?
Yeah, I think I think we should let him remove his tape without a super chat so he could chime in on this, because clearly it's a topic he's passionate about. But sure, you could. You do create animal-like monstrosities. In fact, a great example of all kinds of weird creatures that, cross all kinds of different areas of animalness, from snakes and lizards to werewolf-type creatures and everything in between.
Thank you, Polly. Okay. No, the reason that is so appropriate. Let's bring that comment back up. The Nightbane comment. The reason it's so appropriate is it's not really the main book. But in a lot of the rifters that we've done, there have been extra tables, and there have been supplemental stuff that is based solely on kinds of animals, arachnid, insects, stuff like that. These things can be used to simulate powers that you want your insect, arachnid, or lizard, or bird, or whatever to have. Like there was one that was arachnid that was actually spewing a web-like sticky substance that entangles the person that you're shooting it at. Well, I want that in my TMNT game or my After the Bomb game or whatever. Well, it's in the Palladium format already. All you have to do is compare the range, the duration, and the strength of the effect to things that already exist to approximate your bio E points, and Bob's your uncle. You got it. There it is. Or with the whole lizard thing, the whole eyes on the side of your head thing. That's a just total Nightbane thing, because that's crazy scary to look at. So that's there, and the positives and negatives are already in that book. So yeah, you can look at a lot of the Nightbane stuff. Like, do they have what the effect I'm looking for? Yeah, lizards get to do this in Nightbane. So I want to transfer that over to After the Bomb. Great. You take the range, the effect, and the duration, whatever, find something that is analogous in the book already.
So there is. Would you like to know what it is?
What is it?
The spider goat.
Spider goat?
Remember, one of the first things that they chimeraed in the real world was a goat whose milk came out. It didn't come out like so, but it had spider web strands in it. This is back in early 2000s, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Eric and his genius decided to put that in this book too. So yes, the spider goat is in here, and you can have silk armor, silk binding, silk tape, silk structures, silk thread, silk. Oh my God, silk cloth. How many silk things can you have? Oh, and web shooters. Oh, web shooters. There's a different one for 10 BioE points for web shooters. A silk travel line, a silk grappling hook, a silk.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff is in there. But if it wasn't already written down in a book for you, you could make it up. And all you have to do is fit it into the framework that's already there. The main crux of this entire thing is supernatural, mythological, natural, whatever powers you want to give, you have to make sure of just a couple of things. One, it's appropriate to the animal. Two, you have to make it better, worse, more expensive, less expensive to fit it into the existing realm of that game. Because if not, then your character is going to be either hyper weak or hyper strong, and it's either going to be really hard to play for him or really hard to be played by everyone else, because everyone's going to be pissed off that he's so weak or he's so strong. Right? So you have to fit it in the framework of the game you're putting it in by doing the whole range, duration, cost, all that stuff, damage, effect, whatever. Have it be analogous to things that already exist in the game, and then you're done.
Yep.
Play test it for a couple of sessions. Tell the player, yes, I'm gonna put this in the game, but it is a trial at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how it plays in real life. In my head, and according to the rules, it should work. But we have to try it out. And if I take it away or if I alter it because it's not working, I don't want to hear any shit. I don't want to hear any crap from you. I'm telling you out of the gate that this is subject to change.
Yeah, especially since a game master has a vision for his world, and if what you're doing, if it's interesting, if it's different, that's not necessarily a problem. But if it puts certain aspects of the world topsy-turvy, the number one thing that I have run into when other people have run TMNT, to be fair, I did this at first, I don't anymore, because I was kind of built around this, is I know a lot of people don't allow flying creatures. They're like, nope, you can't take flying because I want that street level game, and if you do that, you're just going to spot everything, whatever, and I don't want to build around that. You could call it weak jamming, or it's just the flavor of the game that he is making. I know a ton of people who don't allow flying creatures for TMNT. So, I mean, if something like what he's saying up there is like, yeah, you know what? Shooting that spider web like Spider-Man seemed neat, but now there are other complications because of that. I can see a game master absolutely saying it's just not working the way we intended. So let's back it off a little bit, or let's do something else with it.
Yep.
Yeah, the game master should always have final say. And I just want to just remind everyone that that's why Palladium Books has the same basic game system for all of its games other than Recon, is because this very thing. You see something that's in Nightbane that makes sense in TMNT or After the Bomb or Rifts, just pull it out and plop it in. It's there. It's easy. It's modular.
Mm-hmm.
Just, take it, do it, tweak it accordingly for the setting, and you're all set, ready to go.
Yeah, I was talking with Sean about that in the Veterans Day. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and Heroes Unlimited is an excellent resource for powers because they have superpowers. Don't cost ISP, don't cost PPE. All you have to do is take that power from Heroes Unlimited, show it to your bio-E powers, and have them.
Well,
have
we're
them talk a little
beyond
bit.
bio-E at this point. We're just talking generic creatures now.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh.
Like have it alter it to fit into the TMNT after the bomb whatever system, and then just assign a bio-E point type thing if necessary. You know, to be the same as something that is comparable in the setting that you're going in, and you're good to go. I mean, Heroes Unlimited has bio-E in it. I mean, it's in the same book, so you know it should be able to work together.
And there are conversion books to bring it into Rifts, or heck, if for whatever reason you want to make a mutant in your Robotech game. I don't know if anybody still runs that. I hope you do. But you know, like it all, or maybe I should say Splicers. I just never think of that game though. You know, you want to bring something like that that in there into an MDC game. You got those conversion books.
Yep, absolutely.
So talking about that modularity, and then we'll get to the last question. Again, it's very similar to this one, but we're going to focus on a couple of things. My plan, and then by plan I mean I've already started writing it. I just don't necessarily have a full-time group because I haven't asked for one. I'm going to be taking After the Bomb, and that is going to be the new Chaos Earth. That is going to lead into Rifts. So we're going to have After the Bomb happen. The Empire of Humanity is like, oh God, humans, we're dying here. We need to do some tests. We need to play around with some genetics a little bit. Not on the animal side. They're going to lean a different way. And slowly over the course of time, I'm debating on the Heroes Unlimited side of it, although there's a really good suggestion from some people about how to add in Heroes Unlimited into that. But over time, they're going to actually end up causing the rifts by discovering magic. And then I'm gonna bring magic. It's gonna stay SDC, but I'm effectively gonna turn After the Bomb into the Rifts. The Empire of Humanity will become the Coalition, not Nema. But you get but that modularity there. I'm sure Kevin's head's like, God, what are you doing to my realms? But no, but that is the modularity. It's the idea of like, hey, we can take this and move it forward. Like I said, somebody gave me the idea of like, you know, that'd be kind of cool because then you could have humans with superpowers before they get the magic, and now your animal characters actually have. Oh, it's just a couple of humans, no big deal. And what if that human's the Flash? What if that human can pick up a car and throw it right back at him? Like, whoa, wait, this isn't what we were used to. What are these humans doing now? You know, of course, to them, they're just trying to survive. And then one day I'm going to have them discover magic. And then the animals are going to have their bio-E and psychic powers. And the humans are going to have magic powers. But, you know where magic leads when it comes to rifts. So that's my framework going forward.
Oh, I love it. And that's the cool thing is, look, it's your game. Do whatever you want with it. And in the context of Rifts, it fits because nobody knows exactly what happened during the 200-year Dark Age. So your setting could be as valid as anything I might write. Why not?
Nobody's ever going to agree with those comments, but
I was going to say that, but then I decided, nah, I'm going to let that one go.
Yeah. So Sergeant Mushroom, I know there are superhumans in transdimensional, but I'm not going that route with it. But I do know what you're talking about. There are also balloon humans. That's what I call them.
The crazy floaty bullcrap.
Well, you just take all the bio-E away from them.
like 2001 Space Baby looking nonsense. Like, no, I'm fine.
All right, let's move on to. Oh no, actually, we got a couple of super chats to read and a Rumble rant that I missed because just so folks know, right before the stream, both Kevin and I'm blaming him because he had it first. I'm saying that he passed on to me. Had computer problems and I had to restart and I forgot to reopen Rumble again. I apologize, but Law Dog for $20 over in the Rumble side, Rumble rant says, "Don't listen to these two guys, Kevin. New West is a badass setting."
It is.
There we go. So, and then over here on the YouTube, and thank you for the super chats and Rumble rants. I'll just go. You did the Nightbane thing. So, Antarctica beings who hate Splugarth?
Well, yeah, no. That's what started the rant that caused me to have to tape my mouth shut because I went off topic.
Did you actually read this one?
Yeah.
I didn't remember reading. Okay. All right. And then we have to be used at a suitable time. Say, what are your thoughts on this, Heathen Dog?
Yeah, see what we were doing to Jeremy, do it to me because I taped my mouth. I couldn't answer. It would have been a great joke.
It would have been funny, but I'm not gonna. I was fishing for the super chats. Kevin saved you, man. Kevin saved you. Oops. And then there you go. Tell us, Polyrobotics. Thank you. He felt bad for Heathen Dog. I think he did it for Kevin though. He says, you know what, just to make
Dude,
sure.
what? Why can't you let me have nice things? What are you, living riffs? Stop it.
My living ribs. And when using Nightbane to make supernatural animals, pick from the tables instead of rolling.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
love doing that.
Of course, of course. You're already creating something that doesn't exist. Putting randomness into that situation is just asking for trouble. You know, a little randomness is fine, but when you're starting from nothing with just an idea, you don't want random nonsense getting in your way when you don't even have a clue how you're going to proceed. So yeah. Look at the tables. Hey, that looks good. Or hey, that's interesting. You know, do that. Yeah.
Okay, for our third part here, the funny thing is this, I think we actually wrapped up a lot of this third question into the first two, which I expected to happen. The first segment was supposed to be about handling BioE and you know, games like TMNT and so forth and bringing in mutant animals. The second one was more about riffs and, you know, maybe Beyond the Supernatural, Nightbane, but still the idea of like, I want to bring in some, you know, some sort of mutant animal or some sort of creature out of my own noodle, right? This one is supposed to be on monsters and myth, and I kind of went two routes with it depending on how the conversation goes. One is just, I want to bring in this mythological creature like we talked about earlier, like the cockatrice, whatever. So we kind of hit that one, but how about this? I want to bring in a creature from another game. Does not matter what the game is. We'll probably talk Dungeons and Dragons because that's just, you know, everybody knows it, right? I want to bring in a beholder. I know it's trademark, but so we'll call, I want to bring in the big eyeball thing with 10 tentacles. That's the entire name of it. You can make an acronym out of that somewhere. So when adapting monsters from mythologies or other games, how can one balance their narrative role, what the expectation is from the original game, with obviously the mechanical stats and so forth, but also make it recognizable? How do you Palladiumize it is the word that I was thinking, so that it fits the setting, whether you bring it into Palladium fantasy, like we're going to bring this beholder into Western empires, or we're going to bring this mind flare. Yes, I'm trying to pick all the D&D ones right now, into Belther, how do you say that? Beltherad, whatever. As an alien intelligence, maybe.
I mean, it's everything we talked about already, really. And we've done plenty of it. I mean, we've got sphinxes, we've got, chimeras, we've got gorgons, we've got all kinds of demons from mythology and stuff. Again, you know, you pick the stuff you think is cool and interesting and not real repetitive. And, you kind of tailor it to that environment that you're going to play. Or in the case of a private game, personal game, I like to tailor my creatures to the group. You know, what is it they don't want to fight, or what did they say they do want to fight, or, you know, what are their abilities? What are they good at fighting? Well, let's give them some of that. And then it's like, let's give them something they're not prepared for. It's just, and again, you just bring it in with the context of the world. You know, when you look at, heck, Marvel's done it with Hercules and Thor. Is that truly the Norse gods? I mean, for the most part, yeah, it's not bad. But they're putting it into a superhero-y and kind of science fiction alien context, as opposed to mythological, and magical. So yeah, it's just a lot of the same principles. Think about what you want in your game. Think about how these things will best fit in that setting, and mesh with your player group, and you're good.
Are there any like mistakes that you've seen people do over the years? Obviously, we're not going to say names here, although you can mention me if you have to. No. Are there any common mistakes that you've seen when people like to adopt monsters or mythology onto the table, and you're just like, that's not what Cerberus. That's what are you doing here? Why are you calling it that? And has nothing to do with
Well, again, I think, yeah, if it really departs from the mythology and not in a cool way. Because you can take things and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. They've done it in comic books and film for forever. And sometimes it's real successful and you go, wow, this is great. And other times you're like, ugh, why are they wasting my time? and it really is just a matter of context and how it really fits. I don't know if I really want to single out, some specific things that people have done, but I think it should always. It's sort of like when you adapt something, like even a novel into film or into gaming. You want to preserve enough of it that it's recognizable,
Mhm.
and people go, "Ooh, that's cool! It's X being brought into this environment." And I used to talk about it all the time, is wow factor. It's got to have wow factor. You want people to go, "Oh wow, that's cool." Like I had in some of my games, I've had Doctor Who and Darth Vader kind of make cameo appearances.
Mhm.
But there was a little bit of wow to it, so that people went, "Oh, that was fun, not just silly or stupid or goofy." Not that silly or goofy isn't okay too from time to time, but um, you want to have wow factor and what makes it different. And sometimes too, you want to lean into exactly what people are expecting when you're bringing in mythological or literary characters. Maybe you give them exactly what they're expecting. It's Godzilla, and it's Godzilla. um and it's stomping Tokyo or New York City or whatever the hell. um or maybe it's something really, really different. um I think um James Gunn tried to do that a little bit in the Superman movie with the little creature that turned into a big kaiju kind of thing.
Mhm.
um but it just got to fit the environment and kind of meet expectations. And I always say have fun with it, but I mean, if you're designing this thing and you're thinking, "Oh man, my group's going to love this," you're probably on the right track. Because that's what it should be about.
But if
Is
you're sitting there saying, "Man, I'm going to love this," you might want to reconsider.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That I've run into that problem a couple of times as a game master and as a player. It's like, oh, I think this idea is awesome. No one else in the world did. No one else in the world thought it was great. They thought it
Well,
was
that's where you got to be
stupid.
flexible and
Yeah, yeah,
pivot.
yeah. Flexible is a good idea. Yeah.
But that's important to talk about, because in a game context, yeah, you can have like the greatest freaking idea you ever thought. Uh, and if it's not going over, if people are hating it or they're bored out of their minds with it, yeah, don't just double down into it. You need to move on,
Mhm.
kill it, move it off, add something that, makes it more fun and interesting. Um, yeah,
Right.
Here,
you got to be flexible.
That's
what?
that's the high level concept. Like you have to do that when you're thinking about bringing a creature from another game into Palladium. You start off with the high level stuff. Okay, this is the creature I want. Um, is it a supernatural creature? Is it not? Is it, is it going to be is a high magic world, low magic world, stuff like that. And then after you've got all that done, then you have to think about, okay, well, now I got to think about stats. How is this thing going to stat out? And sometimes that can be an issue. That can be an issue. Like for
Yep.
example, the 10 tentacled eyeball thing that we're not talking about. Um, the way I do it is it a supernatural creature or not? Right now, it's
Hmm.
just 1 or 0. That one, obviously, yes. Okay, is it low level, mid level, or high level magic? Well, a not beholder, because we're not talking about beholders here. A not beholder, I would say, beneath like on this dimension, I would say it's either mid or high.
I
And
would too.
the way I would do that, you take its hit points. If it's not supernatural, you take its hit points, you copy them over, and you make them SDC as well. So if it has 89 hit points, it also has 89 SDC. Fine. Non-magical, regular thing. But it's a supernatural thing. If it was low level, I would take its hit points, double it, have that be SDC. Mid magical, triple. High magical, double the hit points, triple them, and have them be SDC. This thing is huge. We're talking like, you know, minor dragon at this point. Okay. That's the high supernatural level. And if you're moving over to rips or an MDC environment, the easiest thing to do is add your SDC and MDC together. I mean, SDC and hit points together. Boom, MDC. You're good. And you've already scaled it for its level of magic.
Yep.
And something that's supposed to be as powerful as a beholder with an anti-magic cone in front of it, with 10 different spells that it can blast you with at any time that it wants to, isn't going to be something that's going to take a shotgun to the face and care. Now, Wilkes 457 to the face, yeah, I can see that hurting.
It'll make it pause. Yeah, I get it.
How about this, Heathen Dog? And this is for both of you, but Heathen Dog, since you came up with this, I want to make the beholder, but I want to make it a little bit more Rifts-esque. So that means, what if I don't give it an anti-magic shell? Or a cone of anti-magic? What if it's random? Each beholder is just genetically different. Some stop psionics. Some actually stop lasers. Some stop, where there's coherent light or however you want to do that. Some stop magic, and make it a little bit different. Of course, personally, I would say, well, that one's got a green sheen to it. This one seems to be like all dark and shadowy. It's just whatever. You just kind of set it apart that there could be something different about it. But just that conceptually, like, oh, I'm going to go in. This is easy. I got myself, I got myself some missiles. Well, the missiles hit it and did damage, but you never saw them explode. Something like that.
I have no problem with any of that. That all sounds great.
I have a problem with all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a problem with all of that. All of that. We're bringing over a beholder, man.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to make it harder.
I'm just tweaking different aspects of it. That beholder would actually be vulnerable to magic, even in that 90 or 45 degree cone, whatever it is.
Yeah. Stop trying to, ice skate uphill. All right. Stop it. we're already bringing over the beholder. Let's not have it like beholder variants yet. We haven't even gotten the first one done.
There literally are beholder variants, but okay.
That's what I'm talking about. We're just doing one right now. Calm down, son. Damn. But then you have to think again. The whole stats. You have to transfer the stats from the. Well, from D&D to Palladium, it's a little easier than some other games that are like tri-stat system. You're like, oh god, I got to separate all this crap out. But from D&D to Palladium, it's a little easier because they're more analogous. So that's not going to be a problem in this instance. Number of attacks per round. You have to think now. A beholder has 10 eye stalks. I'm sorry, a not beholder has the whole 10 eye stalk things and one big eye in the middle. Does that mean it gets 11 attacks per round? Technically, yes, but would that actually break the encounter that it's in? You got to think about stuff like that at that point. Do a little research on other things that are similar, that are already in Palladium, that have multiple attacks per round. How many attacks do they have?
Or you could give it however many attacks you think it should have, but only one spell attack per round.
And then that might be considered too limiting.
Yeah, could
because this not beholder is supposed to be this giant threat. Pew 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 pew. Throwing off lightning bolt, fireball, acid beam, death ray, whatever. It's supposed to have all that crap, right? And if it can only use one per round, well, it's not that much of a threat at that point. It's not enough of a threat that it is in D&D. We want to make it an analogous threat as much as we can, right?
But this is a great example of the thought process and why it's good to bounce it off, another person
people,
or maybe a player group, because they'll bring stuff up like that.
Maybe not pencil whip it in 2 minutes and think you got the masterpiece.
Exactly. Yes. I think this is the greatest idea I've ever had. I wrote it down and I just went forward with it. That has been the fall of many a DM and dictator alike.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, maybe 11 attacks per round is too much. Maybe we go down to 6, right? But these 6 attacks aren't like, oh, punch, punch, bite. No, these are like death beam, lightning bolt. These are serious attacks. These are no joke things, right? So 6 is not out of the realm of, oh, he's a pussy. No, he's not. Because if he hits you, you're gonna understand you've been hit.
And by the way, that's the exact number of attacks I would have given it. 6.
6. There you go. See, there it is.
Okay, everybody, you know that if you bring the Not Beholder over from D&D, you have to give it 6 attacks. Kevin has
6
spoken.
There it is. And it's got to have a death ray.
Two things that I think are just ultimately important from this. One of these Kevin said, and I think the other one all three of us implied, is that it's got to make sense. Beholders in Dungeons and Dragons exist for a certain reason. Typically, at least they're supposed to, as either a magician's guardian, or it's guarding something important, or it just, that's generally what it is. I know there's some other ones, but without doubt. So if you have it meet that same concept, especially if you're playing with other people who know Dungeons and Dragons, then the Beholder makes more sense if you use it proper. I don't want to say properly. If you use it in a manner that makes sense for it. The other thing, and I don't care if you're making, what we talked about earlier, the skunk man, the juicer armadillo, the Not Beholder. These things are supposed to be challenges for the players. These could be research challenges. These could be adventure challenges. These could be combat challenges. Whatever. They're supposed to be. They're not supposed to be the game master's personal TPK machine. And the mistake that I have seen time and time and time again over the years, mostly in D&D, but I've seen it in many games, is that the game master makes his character and he's like, I know they can't do this, they can't do this, they can't do this. Ha! That's what I'm going to bake into it. Teaching a lesson is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. Hey, maybe you guys should use more than just fire. There are other things out there you could use. Have a backup plan at least, right? But I've seen so many games. Oh, I developed this creature last couple weeks and it's gonna tear them up. Really? That's what makes you happy?
Yeah. Are you a nun teacher that exists solely for the ruler wrapping? Is that all you do? You just love to hit kids with rulers? No, that's not fun.
No.
Are you sure?
I was.
To be fair, says the guy who doesn't have kids. So
Yeah, there you go.
But all right.
No, I agree. It should not be a them and us kind of thing. It should not be a competition between the game master and the players. A game master facilitates the story. It shouldn't be this will tear them up. Now maybe it'll shake them up.
Mm-hmm.
It'll scare the poop out of them.
Jesus out of them.
But it shouldn't be, this is going to tear them up. That should never be the job of a game master.
I agree.
Okay. Well, we could keep talking, but I think we'd end up, beating a dead horse here. What I'd like to know before we go here, for the folks that are in chat right now, if there's anything, if you think we didn't ask an appropriate question, let's look at the poll here. I put a poll up there. Which one? After the Bomb, TMNT and Other Strangeness, or Transdimensional TMNT? And TMNT and Other Strangeness won with 50% of the vote. Okay, well, there you go. Poll is over. That's right. So TMNT and Other Strangeness with 50%, After the Bomb with 29%, and Transport Transdimensional only with 21%. You guys hate dinosaurs or something? What is wrong with you? Were you never a kid? I don't know what order I'd put them in. I'm glad I didn't vote. I couldn't vote. But is there anything else for the folks in chat while we get through some of these super chats here that you just like, oh man, I really wish you would have touched on this with the idea of designing monsters or porting over creatures or making mutants, whatever. And it can be for any of the segments. It can be with BioE, without BioE, or porting over something. In the meantime, let's hit a couple of these chats here. Which one did that? Yep, did that. So let's just start here. Yo, Kevin, bro, you got broed. I watched the movie Pumpkinhead the other day. It was good.
Oh yeah, it was good. Pumpkinhead's a good movie. It even has a moral. It even has a moral lesson at the end. At the end, the real bad guy, which spoiler, not Pumpkinhead. the real bad guy repents. Look at that.
Okay. You started this one. So Dictator and DM are analogous.
DM are analogous. How? Okay. Dictator thinks he rules the world. Dungeon Master actually does.
Well, we used to say the Dungeon Master is the god of gods, right?
Yes.
And at least in that setting, yeah. Okay, fair enough. There you go. For $10, Sergeant Mushroom. I like that little character you got there.
Goomba.
Yeah. Some GMs love the whole "I'm the guy who killed your character" thing. Yep.
Well, I wouldn't call those real GMs. I just call those little petty tyrants.
My worst convention game, and I've had a bunch of bad ones. My worst convention game ever, and Heathen Dog, if we ever get Bob on, I can get him to. I think Garthon was there as well. Is we signed up for this AD&D second edition game at Gen Con. I think it was 2004. And
I remember this one. Yep.
Yeah. I think you know what we're going to talk about here. And it was our team against another team sitting over there, kind of like how we did that Earthdawn game, where it's like us against them. But this was an arena fight, and things were happening in the arena, and it was kind of cool. Like okay, it's like you had to think. Yeah, like I can't just heal here. All of a sudden, this big wall pop slides up in front of you. Like, oh crap! Like, and now you have to work your way around it. And then all of a sudden, the game master, because he was like the coach of our team, and the other co-game master was the coach of the other team. All of a sudden, they had their little dialogue, and then it just became completely about them. 100%. Our characters did not matter anymore after that. It was just them dialoguing and having it out. They were like 20th level whatevers. I think we were like 9th level or whatever. And it was just like, we spent the last couple hours. I know Bob flipped. Bob went off on them after that. Like, how can you do, like, we wasted 2 hours of our lives here just listening to you guys going back and forth, blah, 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 but that is that it isn't about the game master. The game master has a different type of fun than the players. That's why game mastering is different. I absolutely love it when the characters die. I'm not going to lie, but I don't go out with that intent. No, because most of them, again, Heathen Dog can talk about some of this in the game seeds. Most of them die through some sort of, whether cool or stupid or something you remember, right? They don't just die because I made monster with 3 million more hit points than they've got. Right. And so there's a cool story that comes from that.
Yeah. Like in the Veterans Day game, the Delta Green game, I tried to infect one of the player characters with a pigeon-sized mosquito in their brain.
Yeah.
It didn't work. I could have lied and said it did, but it's not my job to punish them.
Right.
It's my job to put them in a situation where they can get punished.
And to me, that's the fun of the dice.
Yes.
Why have dice if you're not going to live by them? That's, to me, the dice are fate and luck.
Yes.
I
mean, if you lie about them, why use them at all?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I don't know how you guys are, but I'm one of those people. I will roll behind a game master screen. That is my purview as the game master. I know some people are like, nope, you got to roll in front of everybody, to show that you're fair. It's like, no, I actually don't, because I'm sometimes rolling for other things that might not be combat, whatnot, and I want to keep that stuff back here. If you don't trust me, there's the door. Leave the table. Like that's my mentality. I have lied about. Have I ever fudged dice rolls? Yes, I was young once. Would I fudge them now? Not for combat, maybe for something like, weather patterns or something like that. You're like, okay, that doesn't make any damn sense. How did we go from winter snowstorm to it's 95 degrees outside? Something like that. But no, like I have other ways of cheating as the game master that I can do that still try to keep the game fun for folks. But the idea is to challenge them. Now, if they don't research it, if they don't research that, what was that thing called? The not beholder tentacle creature has 6 attacks per round, and they think that the juicer's got it. We'll go figure it out. And all of a sudden, it just flung out one more attack than the juicer has at level 1. And he's like, "Excuse me, guys. I know I only have 5 years of my life, but I'd like to have 5 years of my life." Then maybe they get what they get. But if they're like, "Oh, crap, hey, what's going to be in this area? What is reported to be in this weird dimensional thing that we're going to? Has anybody been there? Hey, Shifter." That's right, Heathen Dog. Hey, Shifter. Can we pay you to go get some information for us, or do you have any research? Whatever. I love that when the characters or player characters take the time to do things like that. And yeah, sometimes they discover all the secrets. But you know what? It's okay to hold back one secret that they weren't expecting. Yeah. As long as, as long as it's not TPK where they like, oh crap, we thought that when they said that vampires were would succumb to garlic, that we could just throw garlic at them. No, there's more of a process to it than that. You actually have to have holy garlic.
You have to roast the garlic. You have to put it on bread, and you have to smear it on their face. Yeah,
there you go. Or you have to bless the garlic like you would holy water or something like that.
Yeah.
That's maybe not every rumor is true.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's important information. The lack of got us all killed.
Right. Or at least, that one thing didn't work, but everything else was right. I love that kind of stuff. And just consider that for your monsters and for your games. Kevin, when it comes to creating monsters, whether the greatness that you've seen, the mistakes that you've seen, or anything you think that we haven't left on the table, I'm going to look at some chat here. I'll just see if there's any question out there. But anything that we left on the table that before you go, that you can leave it here, said, you know what? We got some people out there now who can make some great monsters and great mutants.
Yeah, so another element about your creature that you need to think about is what motivates it. And by that I mean, if it's purely an animal, not a human intelligence, is it a predator? Is it territorial and is protecting its area or its young or whatever? Is it intelligent? How intelligent? If it's a predator, obviously it's going to be stalking people. You see that a lot with our supernatural creatures, because they are, even when they're intelligent, they're still driven by instinct. And part of that instinct is, predator or not, herbivore, carnivore, those kind of things are all important. And if it is intelligent, does it have quirks? I mean, even if it's low intelligence or no intelligence, there's certain animals, like certain birds, like to collect shiny objects, and that can be a fun thing, because if it swooped down and stole your magic wand or your e-clip or something else that was shiny and that you desperately need. Now you got to track that animal down or replace the item, which could be a whole side trip. Creatures need motivations too. One of the things I hated about early D&D when I was playing is that it was just like, it made no sense. You have you're in a dungeon and 9 out of 10 times you're kicking in the door. So that made noise. You enter, there's some kind of creature, whether it's a spider or a giant rat or, goblins or whatever. You fight them, you kill them, that makes noise. And yet somehow whatever is in the room next door or across the hall never hears you, or if it does, it just goes, those neighbors are always so noisy.
I had
and
the
you just
same
ignore
exact
it.
problem.
It made no sense to me. The creatures and the people need to have motives. They need to have reasons for the things they do, whether it's just, hey, I'm hungry, I'm a predator, and hey, visitors in my dungeon, good, dinner has arrived.
Hey Kevin, how did this giant spider get in this 10 by 10 room when the door was shut?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, what the? So that always drove me crazy. Don't do that. Although, again, for beginner players, sometimes that's fun, because it's just a matter of kind of getting used to stuff. But to me, I need more. I need a story. I need a certain amount of rationality. So think about it. And if it's an intelligent creature like your classic dragon, okay, it hoards gold and gems and valuables. All right, cool. But you know what? In my dragon hoards, there are always all kinds of magic items as well, because those are even more valuable than a gem or a gold coin. And my dragons in Palladium, of course, have human intelligence. They're just still driven by a certain amount of instinct as well. And that makes for a more interesting character. And it makes sense to me if dragons are these big, powerful beings. I wanted my dragons to be more than just, and this was a choice, a design choice. I wanted them to be more than just big, scary monsters that breathe flame or other vapors and stuff.
And now you have a bargain. You can bargain. Like, we could really use that item in there. What do we need to get you, oh Sir Dragon? Please don't breathe on me right now.
Yeah. Well, hang on. When I think of dragons, I had this thought a couple years ago. I thought it was funny that once a dragon gets a certain amount of hoard, a certain amount of gold, certain amount of gems, certain amount of stuff, he becomes kind of like your someone's wife addicted to Amazon, because people come to try and take your hoard. They're just delivery. They're delivering themselves along with all their magic items they bring. You kill them, you take their stuff, and your hoard gets bigger, and you don't have to do anything at that point. The
There you
hoard
go.
comes to you.
The horde comes to you.
It's
No,
great.
but that's a
Everyone's
great
trying-
point. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just sits there waiting for people to come to it. And again, that's motive. That's part of its environment. That's how it responds now.
And that's a dragon that when he dies, they have to cut open the mountaintop and airlift him out because he
Airlift him out,
hasn't moved.
Yeah, he hasn't moved in so long, and he's super ancient now because everyone that came to try and take his like billions of gold just ended up being on the pile. They're like, oh, you came here with +5 magic armor and a vorpal sword. Well, after I kill you, I'm gonna put that over there in that corner. It'll look beautiful, right there. Mwah, chef's kiss.
By the way, one of the things that I want to say is, like, if you read the Game Master guides for Heroes Unlimited, or I think it's the primer, is it the primer? Is the Game Master guide for Rifts? Kevin actually writes about some of the stuff that we talked about today. Maybe not quite as directly, but he does write about it. There's also this book out there. Not a fan of the author, but the book itself, if you're willing to read between the lines on this one, the monsters know what they're doing. Combat Tactics for Dungeon Masters. Now, it's for 5e. But the benefit of this book is it talks about things like why the lion would attack the wizard and not the paladin, why why creatures act the way they do. It's because whether you believe in bioessentialism in terms of genetics, or you believe in evolution in terms of the fact that that would be bioessential, but they got to that point, or you believe that Grumps just created goblins this way and that's the way that they're supposed to be, they act in a certain manner. And you know what it usually is? To their strengths. A goblin that comes up and, challenges the paladin, a little 3-foot goblin challenges the paladin to a one-on-one fight, either isn't a goblin or just lost a bet to a bugbear. But the point of this book is, if you look at the creatures and look at their powers, almost all of them are overpowered if you use them correctly. And not everything fights to the death. Especially predator animals. Predator animals don't like to be hurt because when they are hurt, that affects their ability to get future food.
Yeah.
So whether it's that dragon that Kevin was talking about, who was fire breathing on everybody just to get their treasure because of heathen dog, all of a sudden somebody comes in and is immune to that fire and gives it a big slice. It's like, what? Oh, okay, maybe we can bargain now. Use things other than just fighting to the death for these monsters. Kevin said it with motivations. What is the monster's motivation? Some of it's just food. Let's be honest. Some of it, maybe you can, even if you can't speak to it, maybe you can throw a little, you know what? I got a dog that's chasing me. Throw down that steak and run the other way and hope it likes the steak more than you. You get what I'm saying.
Yep.
Find that motivation. And again, these two were spot on when they said it. But think about the creature, and I love the fact that Kevin more than once talked about research. And one of the things we didn't mention today is, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever, these are great tools to get some information. Might not be the end all be all of everything, but you can use those AIs. It's even easier than Google searching nowadays, because you'd be like, I need creature to do X, and goes brrr. So I'll leave it there. Kevin, anything else that you want to put out there?
Yeah. Just draw your inspiration from everything. Just because that book that Max just mentioned is for 5e doesn't mean that the concepts in there can't be applied to any game. Our games, any games. Hey, I always joke around saying I steal the best ideas from everyone I can. Look at everything and draw on them. And if it's a cool idea, if it's a cool concept, if it works in your game, then use it. It doesn't matter what it was created for. It doesn't matter if it was in the latest Alien movie or whether it was in, some book for 5e or Savage Worlds or whatever. If it makes sense, take it, use it, just tweak it to fit your game, whatever you're playing, and your environment.
So the face huggers, instead of putting an egg in you and exploding out of your chest, what they do is they go in and then they plant a Goa'uld inside you.
Yeah, there you go. Ta-da!
Hey, you got superpowers now. Oh wait, I need your character. You're an NPC.
Yeah, and you're completely taken over and have no will of your own. But whatever, you regenerate really fast. Good job. All right, but before we go, this is important to me. But Chris says, how do you convert stats from D&D to Rifts? Well, that's incredibly easy because right up until skills happen, it's almost 1-for-1. Think about it. Humans, 3d6. All stats down the line. Well, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Method 1 in D&D, 3d6 down the line. And if you're not human, you get bonuses or minuses. Oh my God. That's the same thing as D&D. Now, you may or may not want to change the number of bonuses, like +8 is a little much. Well, yeah, but these things are damn strong. Like storm giants are a little much. That's the, much
that might be a little much in D&D. That might not be enough for Rifts.
Exactly, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
who knows? Who knows? Up until skills happen, physical skills mostly that can bump up like so much.
Mhm.
Up until then, it's basically the same. So to port them over, you just have to eliminate some of the skill things. If you want to go from Palladium to D&D, if you want to go from D&D to Palladium, you add the skill things, and then Bob's your uncle. You got a guy who's like 90% there. You're going to have to tweak. Obviously, there's going to be some tweaking and some adjustments need to be made once you play a little bit. But yeah, you're 90% there, just adding or removing the skill bonuses.
Well, and again, comparison. Look at a similar character or creature in Rifts and say, okay, if I'm bringing this D&D creature into Rifts, it's kind of like this. It should have more of this or less of that. It takes a little time, but comparison. Take a look and adjust accordingly, and trust your gut. And your players will tell you if you missed it if you're a game master.
Yeah, they'll let you know. Just if they try and let you know at the table, rough them up a little bit, tune them up. Telling the game master they're wrong is something for before or after the game, not during the game. You got to teach these fools some etiquette.
Yep.
All right.
I just realized there's one creature I wanted to mention that I ran as a player that I wanted to mention. I'll make this quick. We were, I forget where we were. We were in a tavern or whatever. We were in kind of a little happy-go-lucky area. This is one of the more clown shoes areas of this game because he actually ran a pretty serious game. But it made sense for the area where we're in, what's about to happen. Every time you pulled out, so you'd play poker and you get to choose to play and you could earn money, in character cash, right? Gold coins. If you played though, what we didn't know was that the guy who was running the poker tournament, if he pulled a face card out, it actually summoned the creature on the face card. If it was like a 4 of diamonds, no big deal because that was a 4 of diamonds. But you pull out the jack, all of a sudden he comes popping out of that card, and it attacked you. And these things were 2-dimensional. If it turned sideways, you couldn't attack it, see it, cut it, do anything to it. Now, that's easy to get positioning on. And yes, we only did, I think we did hexes, not squares. But either way, I mean, it wasn't like, well, actually, if I'm 1 degree, I'd be able to see it. No, it was basically if you're on the sides, you couldn't see it. If you're front and back, you could see it. It was that simple. That made sense. But it could still see you. And all of its weapon was of sharpness. For those who don't play D&D, that means it could lop off a limb with a high enough roll because he was 2-dimensional. Yep. Man, that was a scary ass fight because we weren't expecting that. First of all, we come to find out that, long story short, that he was the guy we were looking for. We just didn't know it, and he knew we were looking for him, so he was trying to kill us right then and there. But that was a scary fight. Something as simple that you take your deck of playing cards and like. It wouldn't be neat if this thing popped out and then sharpness. Now they had very few hit points, heavily magic resistant, very few hit points. Yeah, right. Well, when they popped into reality, I don't know how paper they were, but basically that's what it was. Very few hit points, but scary as hell when you've got swords of sharpness and 2-dimensional, and had a lot of magic resistance, But the idea is use the imagination. And how did that not make sense? We were playing poker. This wasn't like some random schmuck. This was the guy we were going for. You see, like all that tied in when you're like, oh man, that actually did make sense. So, okay, you just came with a stupid creature. Nah, Have it make sense. Kevin said this earlier. Make sense. And when you put all the facets together, you're like, oh crap! Actually, okay, yeah, he would want to kill us. He would. He did want us dead. And this wasn't some random thing just for a random encounter to waste our time. Yeah, that's the quick version of that. But with that, I think it's time we go. We kept Kevin past his bedtime here, and, but we did start late, and I think it was a great conversation. Any final things, Kevin, about Palladium books that you want people to know? Obviously, we got the Christmas package going on. The link is in the description now. I did put it in there while we were streaming. Anything fun and interesting at Palladium books that everybody needs to know about real quickly?
Obviously, in addition to the Christmas surprise package, which is always a great deal, and and we often extend after Christmas. So keep an eye out for that if you miss it. We also always add in a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Tuesday sale. So keep your eyes peeled for those. Those will be coming up. And these bad boys are shipping. Yay!
Again, shows off. Heathen Dog, any words of wisdom for the folks out there?
Yeah, okay.
No, but I do now. Okay.
If you're making a new type of creature or character, or you're porting from one game system to another, you can't do that effectively in a vacuum. You do it, you do the bare bones stuff yourself, and then you run it by other people. You get sounding boards on you, and then you hit the game table and you tell everyone, this is a new thing. It's on a trial basis. I may change it or take it away altogether. I'm just letting you know. This is something that we all talked about, but here it is. And then go. That is the best way to make it a smooth transition from mind to game. There's steps in between. It doesn't go straight and work. If you expect it to work out of the gate, you're stupid. Don't ever expect it to work out of the gate. Expect to have to tinker it, especially if you don't run it by a couple of people first.
Yep. That's great advice.
All right. Well, I was going to say something after that, but I just ruined it, so I won't. But Polyrobotics for $2. I do have to say what he said. Dead horse. Are they related to Dead Rain? Maybe. I mean, zombie horses.
Zombie horses. Oh, man, that's scary.
All right. Well, now you know how to add zombie horses to your game because we've talked about how to incorporate them. So we're not going to tell you how to do that. We're going to end the show. Thank you, everybody who's here today. Absolutely appreciate all the super chats and memberships, of course. But everybody who's here who hung out with us. It was a great time. Look forward to talking to everybody again. I don't know what I'm doing next week, but I have an idea. Heathen Dog, do you know what you're doing next week?
Not a clue.
All right. So we don't know. Something's going to happen next week, I hope, though.
We're gonna have an idea.
And maybe look forward to that makeup members only stream on Friday, but we'll see. With that, I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful week.